a peak to two locations, and because you've got a geoid in Discord chat on your face, you can't move off that topic. They measured the elevation difference to two places from
Could we
one
explain?
place.
Could we explain it a bit simpler for him? If you start in the north
I'll make a
and you use the surface of the sea as your reference point, and then in increments, you move southwards and you measure the elevation change of the surface of the water. It drops down. Okay.
Yeah, the ground
so the surface of the water is at a lower than the northern one, and then in increments. And then in increments, you move south.
The picture.
No, that picture is a geoid.
Where is your deflection? Where is your reference? Where's your deflection? Where are your measurements being based from?
You start at one point.
I'm making an image that will explain it. Give me.
I know where this picture is from, you guys. Okay, so
I'm not talking about that image. That image does not pertain to the thing I'm talking about. That pertains to the cause of what I'm talking about. Because you don't understand how collaborating topics work. It's so hard to talk to you.
Collaborating means they go together.
You know what? Let me delete it. Ignore that image. Look at this image. Okay. You go from a common peak. This is very rough. I should have probably done multiple levels. You go from a common elevation and you measure down to a point. You go left, and then they measure from the common peak. They go right down. The common elevation is the top of the green. They measure down. They reach the water. They do that twice, and they find different distances, 2 different red line lengths. That means the water from the north to the south of India does not have the same mean sea level because the water's not flat.
Really?
I must point out, guys. I must point out this server is not responsible.
So you're saying, hold on a second. So you're saying all of our fucking base level measurements or whatever are made from India? That's what you're saying?
No. I'm saying they did this to confirm that India's sea levels are not the same. They are different. There is a difference between them, between the north and the south.
So a boat floats different over there and shoots missiles different at angles in India than it does over in America.
Also, no mention of missiles. You are trying to either move the goalposts or create a straw man.
Nope.
It is a fact that the ocean in the north and the south have different mean sea levels, based on the technique that I described that you agreed would work.
Right. It's not what I'm saying. I wasn't moving anything. I'm just saying what you're saying is you're telling me. So the angle of the way things hit from one side of the sea to the other is going to be a little bit different.
No, you don't understand. They use that green on the top of that. That's a reference point. When you want to do a measurement like this, you need to have a starting point, a reference point. Yes.
Look at you guys. I've never heard in my entire life I've used land as a level fucking reference ever.
No, you use the same point. Okay, let's say in the middle of that green mountain peak. That's your reference point. And then along the coast, you measure the distance from the top of that peak down to mean sea level.
How is the land itself proven to be actually perfectly level?
You don't need what you do. You start with a reference point, and then you measure the elevation difference in both directions. In both directions, yes. So as you see on the right hand side,
how would you do that?
This image is a bit not correct, because what you do, you are moving along the coastline. So it's not like the sea is split in two. So they start at the top of that mountain, then they do the measurement downwards in increments, and they go north and they go south from the same reference point. And when they go south, they find that the mean sea level is lower than the northern mean sea level. Those
Right,
sea
and they
levels
found-
are referenced to the exact same point.
Because they had to descend further
Whoa,
from that
wait.
same peak.
So, okay.
It's
guys
very
This server cannot be held responsible for any brain damage caused by talking to your angle. You're on your own, guys. Don't sue Demon Stride because he's not going to pay.
Look, you
Okay,
guys understand what you just said, right? You guys understand what you just said. You
Yes.
said
No, we're losing
one
brain
sea
cells.
level is different from the other sea level, and we used a point from the ground, which was where our deflection was, and we had to make sure the ground was level from the sea itself, but the other side was level and not level from the sea.
Why?
No.
No,
Why
that's
does-
not
Yeah.
what's done.
Also,
That's
why
what
does
the fuck you just said,
deflection?
dude.
Why does deflection
vertical
matter when descending?
You guys understand where a vertical reference frame is, right, dude? Where's your vertical reference frame, right?
Ours is a North American vertical datum. It's up in Canada, actually. We use that throughout North America. That is
Right,
one
which is
point.
your
That is one point that we have selected, and we have said that is what we will call sea level.
the horizontal, the mean sea level.
And everything is transferred from that one point across the entire goddamn continent. Now, when you go to England, they've got a different point.
The whole
Now,
world.
no, there is no one vertical datum for the whole
your
world.
Globe is proof of this. Your globe.
There is no single vertical datum that's used for the entire world.
The equator, 180 degrees from 0 to 180. There it is.
0 to 180 what?
What? Yeah.
That's your that's your horizontal plane.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, it's 0 to 180, then it's minus 180 back to 0. And that's a 360 circle. That's
There is
the
no
equator.
minus 180. There is no
Yeah,
minus
it's a
180.
circle. You know, what's he? Your angle gets the good gummy bears, doesn't he?
You got 90 to 90, which is you got 90 and above, which would be your altitude or your elevation, and then you have minus 90, which would be your elevation drop or below sea level.
That's not elevation.
Absolutely is.
You're out of your mind.
Okay.
I think he's got underwear in his sock drawer. I just
how
don't know.
they
Maybe
get those measurements. They get those measurements
Latitude.
from how the sun's rays hit the plane of the Earth's surface.
Latitude has fuck all to do with elevation.
Absolutely has everything to do with angular.
Longitude has fuck all to do with elevation, your angle.
Has everything to do with angular vertical datum. Absolutely.
What in the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Angular vertical datum. Name it.
Right.
Name the angular vertical datum that you're talking about.
90 degrees.
That's a good effort. I like the fact he made that up.
90 degrees. Perpendicular. It's called perpendicular, which means by definition
90 degrees
90
latitude or longitude is not perpendicular.
Latitude and longitude. Thank you very much.
It has nothing to do with latitude. Good Lord.
And longitude, your prime meridian.
Can you explain to us what longitude and latitude actually is?
Yeah.
It's called your coordinate system.
What?
It's a coordinate system. Based on what?
Angular datum.
Based on latitude and longitude. Your horizontal, which would be your elevation, and which would be where you stand on, which is the surface of the Earth. And your vertical is your which is opposite of your horizontal, which is vertical of 90 degrees, which is, in other words, a cosine triangle.
A cosine triangle.
Would you like dressing with that word,
You-
Selin?
You
Would
sit
you like
around
dressing with my word, Selin? Sorry,
and
Blake.
just making up shit like this all the
I'm not
time.
making a
Young.
damn thing up, dude.
You
Nothing.
are
It's
making
all
stuff up,
shit.
man.
Okay, here.
It's just
Here you
gibberish.
go. Here you
It
go.
was.
Read that, then, buddy. Read that. Tell me what you get after you read that. What does that say?
I don't know. I'm looking at it. Hang on.
Okay, cool.
That's azimuthal projections. Okay. So what?
Yeah. Okay,
Look,
so
a
it says,
diversion.
it says right there, the sun's rays, right there. The sunlight rays from
What
the
about them?
source. Straight lines of those that intercept the globes onto a plane. Okay, that's
Yeah,
where you get
those are
your
right there.
azimuthal service projection, right? Your geonomic azimuthal projection. That's where you get your angles and everything.
I've
Right.
got a lovely bunch
So
of
when your
coconut.
sun goes overhead at 90 degrees, when it's overhead, where you get your 90 degrees from? High noon. Right? That's why you get your shadow changes
This has
from
nothing to
when
do with
the
what we
sun's
were talking
coming
about.
and going. As the sun's going over you and
What?
passing you at 180 degrees, or at
What? Yeah.
160, your
What does that have to do? Excuse me, your
your
angle. What
I'm finishing.
does
Hold on,
this
let me
have
finish
to
my
do?
sentence. I want to finish my sentence just real quick, please. Your
Okay.
shadow gets elongated, right? And then that goes to show you your 180 degrees. Your shadow shows you everything.
What does that have to do with longitude and latitude?
It has nothing to do with it.
Has everything
Exactly.
to do with the angles
No.
to the sun over the plane of the Earth.
That's not what longitude and latitude are.
Yes, it is.
No.
That's where you
No.
No.
Just no.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I just showed you proof of it. That's how they get the. That's what your grid system's made up of. I
No.
showed it to you.
No.
It's
Yeah, I
not.
did. It said it right there, dude. Your azimuthal map.
You're just showing an azimuthal projection, your angle.
Right.
That
Right.
is a flat map projection of a globe.
And that's where you get, it says your angles as the rays hit the plane. Your azimuthal map is the AE map, right? Which is the globe, which has the grid on it. Same map as the actual globe itself, which is an AE azimuthal
It's not
map.
the
Same thing. Is too.
It is not.
It has the grid on it. It has latitude and longitude. Both have latitude and longitude. Here's another fact. The fact is that the map pertaining to the south or the north is a projection AE map, which means it's projected from a polar view.
Fuck's
It
sake.
still has the grid on it, doesn't it? Sure does.
It still has the grid on it.
Got a curved
Oh,
grid that's got
jeez.
a fucking. Oh, God, for fuck's sake.
Okay, I got my AE map out. I got my AE map out, and the outer perimeter of the AE map is listed as a south pole, and has a length. It's also listed as having a length of 0 miles.
Is there a latitude and longitude grid map on there?
Yes, there is the same one that's
There
on the
you
globe.
go.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
there you
There you
go.
go. And the outer perimeter is 0 miles long on that AE map.
Wait on,
Okay.
elephant in the room.
That's-
Shoe Bill, you've got an
That's
EA
because
map.
you're
Are you a
looking
flat
at it
earther?
from the North Pole,
Hey,
dude, or the
give us
South,
a
you
second.
weirdo.
Give us a, hey, Shoe Bill, what are you doing with an AE map?
It's a perfectly good mathematical
You're a fucking
projection.
flat
It's
earther,
just
aren't you?
visually. It's
I
just
never would have
visually.
thought.
It's just visually It's just visually
Easy,
unappealing.
Boomer.
Yeah, it's just visually unappealing. But it's still a mathematically correct projection. That's why it lists the outer perimeter. That's why it lists the outer perimeter as 0 miles long.
Right, here you go. Here's another fact right there dropped for you. The sun reaches the zenith at 90 degrees only with the tropics of the north, the equator, at noon. As the sun is 90 degrees minus your latitude high above the horizon, due south at 180 degrees. north of the Tropic of Cancer. There you go. Boom! There's your fucking goddamn coordinate system, dude.
Yeah. Now, how do you use it?
Well, the sun, it's up to observer.
Do you understand what you posted?
Yeah, totally do.
Do you? What's it
Oh,
say?
yeah.
Just
I
explain it
just
to me,
read
Angle,
it.
in
Here you
different
go.
words.
You want
Without
some more
without
proof?
reading it, without reading it verbatim, can you explain it what it means, Angle?
There's some more proof for you, okay? I mean,
No,
I
let's
mean,
no.
what
Let's
else
stick
can-
with the last one.
It's what? Which one?
The one that
The
starts.
sun.
The sun ever reaches.
Uh-huh.
What?
The
Explain
zenith
that.
at the zenith, which is above you, straight up 90 degrees, only the tropic, north and south of the equator.
Yeah.
At sun noon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the
What do you
sun
think that
is 90
means?
degrees minus your latitude high above the horizon and is due south at 180 degrees of the north of the Tropic of Cancer.
If north.
That's a triangle. That's a triangle. If you can do the math, you'll know your fucking coordinate. Yeah. You laugh it up all you want, dude.
It's funny. I'm sorry. They're explaining the Earth's tilted axis to you. All that explains is why the tropics are at, what is it, 23.4 degrees north and south.
Well, it says right
Because
here.
that is the tilt of the Earth's axis relative to the orbital plane. That's what this is explaining.
It would have been
Is
easy
that
to
what it-
say,
didn't
the
even
sun's
say that,
overhead on the
though.
equinox.
Again, it also says the South Pole is defined as the point on Earth that is lying antipodally to the North Pole. It defines geodetic latitude 90 degrees.
No shit,
There you go.
Sherlock.
Okay, then. So do
So
the
what?
fucking math, dude.
There is no math to do.
For fuck's
You
sake.
just described antipodal, so that means
That's
there's
all.
two poles,
Right.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
only occurs on a rotating sphere.
Right, at
Like the
90
one-
degrees. That a fucking
Like the
joke.
one in the
No.
classroom at school.
The poles on a sphere are 180 degrees apart. The north and south
180.
pole are the north and south pole. The geographic north and south pole are going to be the GPs of the north celestial pole and the south celestial pole.
Right. And your zenith is up.
Yes, the GP is when
Correct.
an astronomical object is at zenith.
Mm-hmm. The South Pole is at the center of the southern hemisphere.
Are you an organ donor? For,
A for apple.
Urinal?
There you go, right? There's your azimuth.
He's on the
You
organ
ain't got-
donor list
yeah.
to
Yeah.
receive an organ.
Yeah, so azimuth is just what direction you're looking, north, south, east, west. Where
Mhm.
north is 0, south is 180 degrees. That's azimuth.
Here, this is from NASA.
Johanna, let me see if I understand you correctly. So
Azimuth elevation
you
coordinate.
if you were at the North Pole and you dropped a plumb line, would that plumb line point towards the geographic South Pole?
Well, no, of course not. It would point to the ground level.
So okay, in relation to that plumb bob on the North Pole, which direction would you have to go to get to the geographic South Pole? Would you have to go perpendicular to that plumb line, or
geographically, the South Pole doesn't exist.
it doesn't?
No, not on
South-
a azimuth elevational coordinates. It does not.
But
It's not.
You
It's
just
not
wait a minute. You just
below.
posted, but you just
It's not
posted the South Pole is antipodal to North Pole.
That's right. Antipodial.
Yeah, so it does exist.
what is antipodal?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
I
more
will.
pro-polyal myself. Their political beliefs are a bit weird.
Antipodal means it goes straight through the straight through the center of the Earth and comes out the other side. So there are two poles. The
It
South
doesn't
Pole
necessarily mean it comes out the
geographic
other
South
side.
Pole is a specific point.
Right, and it
Is it
also
actually-
says that it also says the South Hemisphere is located center of the antipodial North or South, right? They're the same fucking thing.
But what,
Yeah, so you have a
but-
northern hemisphere and a southern
At 90
hemisphere.
degrees.
You have two hemispheres making a single sphere.
Right. And
And-
you
and-
have
yeah,
your
an
prime
antipodal-
meridian, which is from
antipodal
0
is-
to 180.
But antipodal is you have 2 points on the sphere, which is exactly opposite of one another.
That's right. Uh-huh.
So that means
Yeah.
since the South Pole is antipodal to the North Pole, Earth has to be a sphere.
Well, I've got a question
Antipodial is
actually. Hey,
not
Bartek, can you? Yeah, sorry, your angle, Bartek, same thing. Does that axial point move a little bit because of the moon? Isn't there like a barycenter that throws it slightly off true center of the axial point, or am I? Yeah, is it an astronomical thing?
Yeah,
No?
the coordinate system is fixed to the Earth. And
Right. Okay. Yep.
and so
Yeah,
the Polaris is not a fixed distance from the south or from the North Pole. It progresses, and then there's the actual progressions called the Chandler wobble, which is a 400 day period of a few milliarc seconds, and
Yeah. Okay.
so
Yep.
we fix the coordinates to the equatorial plane of the rotation. So the axis of rotation has a little bit of drift, but the equatorial plane relative to that axis does not change.
Thank
Right,
you. You answered
because,
that correctly, even though I didn't ask it right. You actually gave me the right answer, despite my question. Thank you, Shubil.
That's
Cool.
why I'm here. I'm not here to argue with flurfs.
I know.
Yeah, well, the angular position between the vectors are 90 degrees.
Random word generator.
No, it's not a
Yeah.
random word generator, dude. It's elevation. It's called elevation.
Oh God, the way he's condescending when he's so
It's
fucking
called
dumb at the same time.
language, and you do not have to use it.
That's why it's called
Yeah,
AE, azimuthal
Bartek-
elevation.
Yeah, hey,
No.
your angle. Being
AE.
condescending.
Yeah, AE is azimuthal equidistant, not azimuthal elevation. What's wrong
Yes,
with you?
it is. It's an elevation coordinate system.
No.
Random
No.
words
AE
again.
map. Yeah, AE map
I've already
stands for
posted it right there
azimuthal.
for you guys to see and read. You know that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're actually wrong. Do you know that?
That's
Do you know that
well-
you're actually really wrong right now? Go ahead, see.
Yeah.
So,
as an astronomer, I can speak from an astronomy point of view that
Because-
coordinate system isn't called azimuth elevation. It's usually called altitude azimuth. So if you're buying a telescope that's not on an equatorial mount, you're going to have it on an altitude azimuth mount. Now, when you say AE, that is usually refers to the AE map projection, which is azimuthal equidistant. But if you want to talk about the azimuthal and altitude angle coordinate system, it's probably better to call it alt-az or something like that.
That's true.
Speaking of which, how do equatorial mounts work on a flat Earth?
Equatorial just means equal distance divided equally, which is angles in fractions, which divides into trigonometry, which divides into angles, pretty much.
Yeah. See, so the way your mount works is it's just angles that divide with trigonometry. Duh. Right? Your angle that explained it.
Random
Exactly
word
what it is.
generator.
I tried to explain it to you what it really comes from, which is the angle of the light rays
What
that
does it
hit
actually
the
do?
plane
Instead of what it comes
of the
from,
Earth's
instead of what it,
surface.
yeah, I don't give a shit about that. Instead of where it comes from, how about you explain to us how it works? Because that was the question. I don't give a fuck
Yeah.
what you
I
want
already
to
have
answer.
explained to you how it works.
Well, I'm
You didn't
saying
like it.
with on the realm of a flat Earth, how do equatorial telescope mounts track the sky perfectly?
Was that a question for me? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay,
Demon
will you
Stress
ask me one more
left.
time, please? Thank you.
Maybe a better question. Yeah, is the Earth a globe or not?
Globe is a projection map used for the coordinate system.
No,
Uh,
is
the
the globe
short-
the
Which is the
origin?
shortest-
No, is
Which is
is
the shortest
the origin
distance from
of the
point A
coordinate
to
system?
point B.
Yeah, is the
Could you
globe the
ask if it-
origin? Is the globe the origin of that coordinate system or the product of that coordinate system?
Yeah, both.
Both. I like it.
Okay. Do you think Earth is roughly spherical, or is there no
Absolutely
overall
not.
curvature?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Do you think there is, excluding topography and stuff like that, mountains and hills, do you think there is a general curvature trend to the Earth?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Okay. So
As
if
far
if
as we
if
know,
you allow
no.
yeah, so if you allow me, I want to call that flat Earth just to be concise,
Why would that be flat Earth?
because there's no overall curvature. It's just topography.
There is no measurement of curvature, dude.
All right.
You sure?
We could go into that.
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
just showed you guys the measurements of how it's being measured. There's no fucking curvature there, bud.
So people using its theodolites cannot measure curvature. Is that what you're saying?
Show me where 90 degrees, where the sun goes over you at 90 degrees, where there's curvature then, because you got the sun going over you at 90 fucking
You
degrees.
don't. Forget.
He can't stay on
the sun.
point, Kenny. He just can't
No,
stay on
forget
point.
the sun. Well, my
Look,
question
90
was,
fucking
we have
degrees and 90
hang
degrees
on,
is a
yeah,
fucking square, dude. It's a square.
we have someone in here who has done a lot of measurements
Uh-huh.
by proper equipment, and guess what the results are?
Right. And how does the sun rays hit the plane of the Earth's surface?
We don't use the sun. Hang on, forget the sun.
Okay.
Forget it. We don't use the. We
instead
don't.
of asking
Yeah.
another question, Angle. Answer the
We don't
question.
use. Yeah, we don't use. We don't need to use the sun to measure the curvature of the Earth.
The Eratosthenes did.
Oh, we can. If you go back a tiny bit, what was the timestamp? Who posted that GIF of the? It's gone now. No, there it is. That was Terry at the 10:19.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
posted that
You have
one.
a look at that. Timestamp 10:19.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I
just
can
scroll
repost
back.
it.
Yeah.
I'll
I
repost
just
it.
repost
realised
Okay, yeah.
he thinks for the
Repost
sun
it.
to be. He thinks for you to see the sun, you got to be actually above your head, directly perpendicular to it. He hasn't realised you see the edges of the sun too. He's
I didn't see
actually
that. Yeah,
close.
I didn't see that, bro. That's where you get 0 to 180,
Yeah, okay.
right?
Do you see?
Mm.
Do you see the GIF now in open chat?
No, I'm still scrolling back a ways here. You said
No,
10.
no,
You
it
don't
just
have
he
to.
just
I reposted
reposted
it for you, Angle.
Okay, sorry.
The guy's being confusing.
Yeah.
Those
That's
angles.
not hard to do for some people, Demon.
Those
Okay,
angles.
yeah, I see that. That's
Yeah,
measurement
those
angles
angles
from the
are
sun.
actual. Hang on. Those angles are actually measured on Earth from different positions. You see
you
if
see how each
it's on the
time it hits, right? You see how
do you
it hits
see
the latitude? Uh-huh.
do oh, for fuck's sake, it has nothing to do with it. You see if it's based on a flat
so.
Earth, you see how the angle or how the lines never ends up in the same direction. You see they're all over the place. If you plot
Yeah,
those
those are the
angles to
right.
the sun on the spherical object, they are all parallel.
Right. They're
So
measured angles to the sun. To
Yep.
the sun. Right.
Yes. You see. Yes, and you see how it doesn't
Mhm.
work because on a flat Earth, if you in the beginning of this gift, those angles are pointing everywhere up in the sky. But
Yeah.
when you put those angles on a sphere, they all end up being parallel, pointing to the
Right.
same point.
yeah,
Right.
so on a
So this
sphere,
would be your 0 to 180 degrees on a plane. That's how the angles hit the plane
The,
of the
ang-
Earth.
no, but we're
the
talking about
angles,
the relationship between your distance from the object and the angle. So on a flat plane, okay, so let's say if you're looking at a street light and you move away, the street light is going to move down in your field of view, right?
Well, of course.
Okay.
An
So there's
angular
going to be
distance.
yeah, so there's going to be a relationship between how far you are from the street light and then what angle you're going to see the light at. The thing is,
Okay, it would be your
over
shadow that would be casted behind you.
no, we're looking at like, well, yeah, let's even do the shadow. On a globe, the relationship between your distance from a star's GP and the angle you see the star at is going to be a constant. And for us, it's 1 degree every 60 nautical miles. So if you see a star at 70 degrees and travel 60 nautical miles away from that star's GP, you're then going to see it at 69 degrees, for no matter what angle the star is. But over a flat plane, we would expect a different relationship that isn't linear.
Why would you expect any different when all measurements are linear?
No, we're
no, they're
talking about
not. I can give you
the
here.
relationship. Okay,
Yes,
so
I
the
did.
relationship.
Here,
Yeah.
look, did it look? See, it says right there, your prime meridian reference longitude measures the angular distance east to west from prime meridian 0 to 180.
Not too bad. Seafoam. I did that test. And I used my house just for the hell of it. I used a laser level. I measured the height of my house, which was 10.2 meters from ground for where the laser was. And I moved away at 5 meters increments, like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 meters. The angles change non-linearly. But when I did that to Polaris many years ago, over a distance about 920 kilometers north-south, the angle when we calculated, we measured at 4 different points, and the relationship was there: 1 degree per 111 kilometers. That is impossible on a flat surface.
Yeah, so
There's
Iago,
absolutely no way.
if you look in the chat,
Okay.
I just posted my own measurement. So I set up in my garage. There's a light bulb at the top of my garage, and I used my telescope to look at it, to point at it, and then I used my phone's bubble level to figure out the angle the telescope was pointing at. And so the black line there is going to be the arctangent. Yeah, so the black line,
What
the
you have to do is
x-axis.
set a plumb bob
Hold
up
on,
from
hold
your
on,
from your laser
hold on,
podium, right?
hold
That's
on,
it.
hold on.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
The x-axis is my distance from that light bulb, and the y-axis
X.
is the angle. All right, not the height of it, not the physical height, but just the angle. So it ranges from 90 to 0.
Oh, well,
So
what's your x-axis then?
distance.
And what's your Y?
The angle.
You need a horizontal and a vertical to get an angle.
Yeah, and to get the angle, I pointed my telescope at the light bulb and then measured what angle my telescope was at.
Yeah, like I said, you would need a horizontal, right, or a vertical, right?
Yeah, and
You use
my
the horizontal.
phone's bubble level tells me the horizontal. And so when my phone's at an angle,
Phone.
it tells me how far the phone is from horizontal.
But okay, but you're shooting from your. You said your telescope. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Your telescope, right?
Yes. I use my
Right.
telescope as the device to point at the light bulb.
Right. So you should be having a plumb bob down from that.
That's
No,
pretty
it's
much
the
what
level.
my
It's
that's pretty
level.
much what my phone's bubble level
Yeah.
did. Okay,
Yeah.
so because when I was, let's say let's okay.
So Seaform, you basically had a horizontal baseline, and you use that horizontal baseline, which you set up by a bubble level or whatever, and then you measure the angle to that light bulb at different distances.
But why
Yes.
would
So
you measure the horizontal?
you had a horizontal base. You had a horizontal baseline, yes.
Mhm.
You need to find out the position of your actual scope.
Yes,
Right.
and I used a tape
Right.
measure to measure the distance between
You
the
would need
light.
a plumb bob centered to find out the correct position. Period.
What? Okay, do I have to draw a picture for you to understand this? Because I can do that.
No picture needed, dude.
No, you do need to draw a picture.
Yeah,
you
I
do
think
need a triangle.
I think I'm gonna pause my game and draw a picture.
Yeah, break
Yeah.
out the crayons for your angle.
Hey, did you see?
It's not that difficult though. You know
said
the
horizontal.
position. He had the GP. He called it the GP of that light bulb. He knows the position which was directly beneath it, and then he set up his telescope, being level by a bubble, and then he moved away different distances, and then he measured the elevation, change of the elevation angle to that light bulb.
Right. So somewhere at that point, you have to have a true 90-degree angle to get your angular position. Correct?
Could you use the bubble level to make a horizontal baseline?
But where's your vertical?
Why vertical's perpendicular to the horizontal?
Do you understand
Right.
what a bubble level is, your angle? Because that's the thing you're asking
Right. You
for.
said you used it for a horizontal.
Let me ask you: hang on? Is vertical is a plumb line perpendicular to a horizontal or opposite?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what's the problem? So that means if you use a spirit level and you set it up so it's level, then you know that is perpendicular. Then you hang on. Then you know that spirit level is perpendicular to the plumb bob of that position. Yes.
Yeah, because they coincide with each other. That's why it's called a cosine triangle.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So if hang on. So if you have a bubble or a spirit level which is level, you don't need a vertical, do you?
You do. Yes, you do.
Why? Explain to me why.
It's called that's why it's called a cosine triangle. They coincide with each other
I'm asking you for.
Get a true 90-degree angle. None of them go over 180 degrees for that simple reason, because a 90-degree angle is the definition of cosine triangle. It's
Stop
perpendicular.
for fuck's sake.
Dude.
Hang on. If we have to, let's see if we agree. If I have a spirit level and I make sure that it's as level as I can get it, if I drop a plumb bob at the center of that spirit level, will we end up with a 90 degrees? between those two, between
Yeah,
the spirit
don't
level
answer
and the
that.
plumb
That's
bob.
ridiculous. Hey, Stefan, just a
Blotech,
reminder,
shut the fuck up.
communism.
Hey, Blotech, shut the fuck up and wait your turn, bitch.
Yeah. So
What that does, yeah. So,
Yeah.
hello.
would this level and the plumb bob be perpendicular to one another?
The plumb bob would be perpendicular to a horizontal level spirit level. Yes.
Yes. So if we remove the plumb bob, do you still have a horizontal baseline?
If you have cited in the actual and leveled your instrument, then you would be fine. Yes.
Yeah, that's what Seafoam did.
It's not what he said at all.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
He used a bubble level to make sure to have a baseline, a horizontal baseline, and he used that horizontal baseline, and then he measured the angle to that light bulb at different distances.
But you need the plumb bob from your instrument.
No, the instrument is level. The instrument is level.
Level to
And
what?
then he used the telescope, and then it's a bubble level or whatever. Okay.
Right, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So then he used his telescope to measure the angle to that light bulb, and he did that at different distances from call it the GP of the light bulb.
Right. And in order to get a correct angle, the instrument would have to be set up square, right, to
You mean
your
level,
horizontal.
Yes, it
No,
is.
I'm
The
square
instrument,
to your
the
horizontal.
instrument, the instrument is set up level, okay? And then he tilts his telescope upwards until he centered the angle.
So your instrument,
yeah,
right.
And then he measures the angle. It's quite simple. Look at the image. You see that image?
If I may say something, your instrument has to be set up square to the horizontal to get your angle.
No. Let me try to explain the other way. Yeah, look at that image of that telescope with the mobile phone on the top. If you tilt that telescope downwards so that it's level, that's your starting point. And then you move the telescope. That's your starting point. That's from the horizontal baseline. Then you tilt the telescope upwards to center the light bulb, and then you read off the angle. Did that make it any clearer for you?
That is the wrong kind of instrument for that calibration.
Why?
Well, let me use my example. I use a laser level and a big protractor and a plumb line and a measuring tape. So I used that laser level to make sure that I was measuring from the same elevation. And then I used that big protractor and a plumb line to measure the angle up to the top of my house. And I did that at 5, 10, 15, 25, 20, and 25 meters.
Okay.
I did not end up with the same with the same distance between the same angle between the same distances.
Right.
The distance, yeah. So for me to end up, if I did that, let's say I started at 5 degrees and then moved until I had 10 degrees, then 15, then 20 degrees. The distance between those points would vary quite a lot.
Right.
That's not what we measure when we measure elevation angles to stars.
Yeah, because your elevation changes due to your point of origin, which would be your horizontal, which is mean sea level, right? Which is 0. So
No.
that's why you get an
Have you? I don't know
elevation.
how much. Yeah. So if I live down by the sea, so if I set on my telescope and measure the angle, let's say to one of the stars in the north or in the south, for that matter, that I can see, and I have a favorite spot to do these observations, which is about 650 meters above sea level. There is no elevation change in angle. The angle is exactly the same to the elevation. So if you measure the elevation angle to a star from sea level or from 1,000 meters up, there will be no change in the elevation angle. The elevation angle is exactly the same.
Also, the original topic was Seafoam's experiment in his garage, nothing to do with elevations. The elevation was constant.
Yeah.
We spent so
yeah,
long
just-
trying to explain to you how bubble levels work that you've forgotten the original topic.
Yeah, so I just
Oh,
got
I did.
done drawing my
I
experiment.
have it. I
So
got everything. I know how
So-
bubble. It's called a spirit level, but yeah, I understand that. I know how they work.
So, yeah, so here I just drew my experiment. So I knew where the bottom of the light bulb is, the GP, where it was at 90 degrees. That was the first place I measured from. And then from that reference point, I moved the telescope back like, I don't know, was it a foot? I think it was like a foot each time. I moved it back by a foot and took an angle measurement, moved it back by a foot and took an angle measurement. Do you see how that works with my picture?
To be honest with you, no, I really don't. I don't know how you get
Okay.
53 degrees there. I don't know how you get 53 degrees.
Yeah, okay. So that black box is my phone, okay? And my phone
Yeah,
has an
I
app.
get it.
My phone has an app that has a bubble level. So when I put my phone against the tube of the telescope, it tells me what angle my phone is at. And for that picture,
Okay, that's what
the
angle your
phone
phone's at. Gotcha.
yeah. And
Yeah,
because
but that's
the
not what
tube of
angle you're shooting at though, right? You're shooting up towards not your phone is at a different angle than
No,
what you're
he's
shooting.
placed the phone against the telescope. It's at the
Yeah.
same angle.
Yeah,
Jesus
but
He
Christ.
said he's using it for his horizontal level, he said, correct?
No, he's not.
No,
You're
okay.
fucking being dumb.
Oh, now
Yeah,
he's
what
two
I'm-
different things.
Hold on.
Two different
Recorded.
things.
Let me
John,
speak.
go shut
What
the
I'm
fuck up.
saying. What I'm
No,
saying
fuck you, man.
is
You know I made a damn good point. Too bad.
my telescope tube is a cylinder. So the aperture, the part that's the flat part at the front, is 90 degrees to the tube. So if I point my telescope straight out, and if I put my phone on the telescope, if it's pointing straight, it will say 0 degrees. If I point my telescope tube up vertically and put my phone against it, it will say 90 degrees. Because the phone is pressed up.
Right. Okay, it's pressed up. So where's your level at? You said you had all
Oh
this
my
shit.
God.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right, just stop. All right,
Jesus.
Seafoam, just Seafoam. Don't tell him to use your phone. Just tell him to use the fucking level. Do you understand what a bubble
Okay.
level is, yaw angle? He placed a bubble level on the side
Of course
on the
I
length of
do.
his
His
telescope.
phone can't be both.
Then why can't you comprehend this? Are you that fucking dense?
Okay.
Wait, he
Oh,
just
so
he just said
his phone is a
can't be
horizontal and a vertical and a fucking. Well, what does he need?
Okay.
You don't
yaw angle.
understand what a bubble level
Do you-
is.
Do you see my screen share, yaw angle?
What level then showed?
Do you see my screen share, yaw angle?
Yes, dude. Where is the bubble
Then
level
click
in
it.
the picture?
Click his.
This is
Are you watching?
this isn't
You see
right
his screen
here.
share, but are you watching it?
He just said
You
he
didn't
was
ask me.
going live. Looking
Are
at the
you
picture,
watching it? Is
dude.
the question.
What do you
Fucking
see
numb.
on my what do you see on my screen
Chill the
share?
fuck out, man. Jesus, dude.
What do you see on my screen share?
I'm getting there.
Yeah, I fucking knew he wasn't even watching. He's gonna let you go
see a
on without him ever watching it.
split screen that says 0. Wait,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm holding my phone up against a table.
You guys know as a carpenter,
Now,
union
Triangle,
carpenter
now-
shut up.
over. Hold on a
Somebody
second.
mute him.
For
Y'all
20
angle, shut
years,
the fuck
dude.
up. Okay,
I'm
y'all
putting
angle,
my-
be quiet.
I'm putting my phone against a table right now. And now, if I tilt my phone up, you see how it says 48 degrees?
Yeah, that's
That-
degrees.
Yes, that means the side of my phone, the long side of my phone, is right now at 48 degrees. If I put my phone up,
Yes, I
now,
get it, dude.
okay,
I don't think
so
you do get it.
now,
I really don't think you do.
I do get it. I know
so
what
what I
fucking
did,
degrees are. That's called square. Cool.
yeah, so what I did is I pointed my telescope at the light bulb, and then I put that exact app on my telescope to tell me what angle it was pointing at. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Why
You
didn't you
said
get it
yes.
before?
I've
So,
already said yes.
so what the
What's
graph
the
is showing,
triangle?
the original graph, the x-axis is my distance from the light bulb, and the y-axis is the angle that my bubble level app gave me.
This is where you're mistaken. Again, you need a plumb bob from the center of your where
Jeez.
your
Y'all
view
angle.
is.
Okay,
You're really
what
retarded,
what
man.
is
Your angle.
Dude.
okay?
No,
No,
you,
let me
Your
ask.
angle.
you don't
what-
have an
what-
accurate distance of where he is, where his
You're muted.
No.
Go ahead and go see
Okay.
phone.
The distance. Okay, the distance is measured from where the telescope was when it was seeing the light bulb at 90 degrees. I set my telescope up at 90 degrees and I moved it around the garage floor until it was pointed directly at the middle of the light bulb. So I marked that place on the floor. Then,
No, dude, that doesn't work that way, dude.
why not? Let him talk.
No,
Why not?
exactly.
Why?
You have to know where your instrument's at. You have to mark your instrument to the ground of your
Mhm.
horizontal, because that's your horizontal, right?
No,
And
no,
then you
no.
have to move
So,
it. And then
I
in
marked.
between the two marks, that's how elevation angles work, dude. Okay?
Your angle. You agreed earlier that a plumb bob or the vertical is perpendicular to level. So that's what he
And
did.
that was it. Yeah, and that was
Okay.
the angle.
Yeah, he
of
was
his-
pointing. If he was pointing, if it was at 90 degrees to that light, that would be a vertical. Yes.
Yeah, but you also have your instrument.
Yeah,
It's
my
a yes
instrument
or
is.
no.
You're not answering the question.
Yes
Please
or no,
answer the
y'all
question.
angle.
If you measure 90 degrees to something
Hold on,
above
you guys.
you, is that a vertical? Is
Yeah,
that like a
the
plumb
answer-
line?
Yeah, the answer to this question is a yes or a no, y'all angle. Let's see if you're smart enough to figure out how to say yes or no to something you either agree to or disagree with. Let's hear. Do you
Yes
agree or
to what
disagree?
you said. I've already said yes.
What I
Make it
said is,
okay.
if you measure an angle at 90 degrees to something above you, is that a vertical?
No.
Would that
No, 90
be
degrees is
parallel?
not.
Would that be parallel to a plumb bob at the same location?
90 degrees means perpendicular.
Oh, for fuck's
Okay,
sake! You
Y'all
can't even.
angle. What he's asking you. Okay, think about it this way. If I held up a plumber's, not a plumber, but a construction level, right? One of the, it's like a 5-foot level. It's got a bunch of bubble levels in it. Okay, shut up and listen. And I hang. Jesus Christ, dude. And I hang a plumb bob off of that. Is the plumb bob going to be 90 and perpendicular to my horizontal? Yes or no? You're going to say yes because we all agree we're not retarded. Right. So if I tilt, right. Now shut up. Now, if I tilt that level so it's like at, 15 degrees, the plumb bob will also have an angle that correlates to 15 degrees between it and the level. We don't need a plumb bob if we can measure where that bubble level is based on its deviation from horizontal. It's the same tool, you fucking numpty.
Exactly.
You do if you're going to measure the distance in between the two.
No,
Well,
the
I would use a
distance. Hold
measuring
on.
stick or
Well,
something in between the two.
I measured. Okay, so here's exactly what I did. My telescope sits on a tripod with 3 legs. Okay, so I set my telescope at 90 degrees. I set it up at vertical, and I moved my telescope to where it was pointed directly at the light bulb. Then I took one of the legs and I marked exactly that position on the ground. So now I knew what position the leg had to be at for the telescope tube itself to be at the GP of the light bulb.
Yeah,
Then
that doesn't work, dude. That doesn't work because then you
Why-
need to know
why
what
not?
angle your leg was. That's why you need to get the center of your
No.
instrument
Well,
and do it
no,
at
no,
a
no,
no, no,
dude.
no,
Stop,
no.
dude. I know.
To get the distance
just
between
well,
measuring points, it doesn't matter what angle the leg is at. It just matters the point of the same leg that he's placed. As long as he slides
Yeah.
it,
it does
the
matter what the angle is. What
travel.
if you put it over
No,
at
it
the other
doesn't.
one and the angle it's out more, but it's still horizontal?
I'm
If,
okay.
if
But
we have a person who stands and walks and a person in a wheelchair who walks, and we measure the 2 points they were at, we can measure the distance. Doesn't matter the shape of their legs. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
The angle does. No, and of course the shape don't matter. But the angle would matter. That's why when you take the instrument, right, you're supposed to plumb bob down from the center of the instrument, which is at a tripod, right? And you put the center, you line up the plumb bob with the point of where it is on the fucking ground. Right? Then you move your fucking thing over. Then you set it up again with plumb bob. Then you measure from point to point to get your fucking accurate distance, dude. That's how you fucking do it, okay?
yeah,
Yeah,
what I did.
Seafoam.
I'm
I
not
wonder
measuring.
if
Hold
your
on,
angle.
hold
Have
on,
you ever
guys.
used?
Hold on.
Have you ever used a spirit level with?
Yes, I've used all these.
with
I've fucking been
Hold on a
using
second.
Carpenter for
yeah.
years.
Let's
I've done
Seafoam.
this shit. Float
Let's
I've done
hold
this
on.
shit for
Let's
20 years.
Seafoam.
Just a quick question. So, have you ever used a spirit level to make vertical?
Do you know? Yes, I do. Do you know how to make a 90-degree, perfect 90
Wait,
degrees
hold on.
with?
No, hang
with-
hang on. Yes, you have. Okay, that's what Seafoam did. Okay.
No, we didn't.
Exactly. No, see, I measured the angle to the light bulb from the telescope tube. I didn't measure it from the ground. I didn't measure it from the leg. I measured it from the tube itself. The side of the telescope tube is going to be at the same angle that the telescope is looking at, correct? Do you agree that if I point my telescope at something and measure the angle of the tube, those are going to be the same? Do you agree or disagree?
What do you mean be the same?
If I put my telescope at 45 degrees and then I put my level against the side, will my phone also say 45 degrees?
If you move, no, it shouldn't be the same. No.
Why not?
Why?
Because you're
We
moving
already
that
agreed with that with the plumber's
because you're
level,
moving it
with
back
the
and
construction
forth,
level
dude.
and a plumb bob, dude. You aren't comprehending this, and it's so
No.
fucking clear.
I'm
What are you talking
an
about, you guys? It says right there 53 degrees and 22 degrees in the fucking picture. What do you mean?
You're fucking dumb.
Oh my God.
No, you're fucking dumb.
Oh
You're fucking
Jesus!
dumb.
So
Different
the first,
distances from.
the angle of the phone and the angle of the telescope, each of the three as pairs are the same. The first one, the phone's at 90, the telescope's 90. The second, the telescope's at 53 because the phone says 53. The third one, the phone says 22.
Hey.
That means the telescope is at 22.
I know, dude. Shit. What the fuck,
okay.
man?
So you're telling us you fully agree with us that putting my phone against the side of the telescope tells us the angle that the telescope is looking at. You agree?
Yeah, of course. I've already agreed with this. I don't get it.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Because you've just been disagreeing with it this whole time.
You-
But
No, I
let's
didn't.
move on. Okay,
Well,
so
yeah,
not
so
easy.
Angle, we all know. See, here's the thing: we've all been arguing with you, and you literally have been arguing with us about this point. So don't tell us you agreed when you fucking didn't before. Either you just now comprehended it, and you don't want to make everyone aware that you're actually that incompetent and it's like probably
Yeah, that's
mentally
what it
challenged.
is. I'm that
You
confident, dude. You're right.
I feel
That's
bad
what
for
it is.
calling you retarded now because you really must.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see if
So-
I continue. Now he agrees that the angle of the telescope is the same as the angle
already
that
did
the
agree to that.
telephone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
he agrees to that. So continue on.
So here's what I did. Now, Guns, you did a good job making the 90 degree. I appreciate you doing that. Now,
It took a long
What I-
time.
what I did was I put my telescope under the light bulb at 0 distance from the light bulb and pointing up at 90 degrees, okay? And that, I'll circle it for you. That is what the first white dot says, okay? So this first white dot is at 0 and 90 degrees. Do you see how the axes work on this? Where it's at 0 distance
Right.
and at an angle of 90 degrees.
Cool. So I'm going to show you something here.
No, do
that
you understand what I do you
I
understand?
completely fucking get it. I've heard you guys say it
Okay.
over.
Yeah,
and
but don't jump to another thing now.
I'm not jumping
Go
to
on,
nothing
Steve.
now.
So
I'm
now
jumping to anything.
what this all goes back to is since the floor in my garage is flat, the relationship between distance and angle isn't linear. But over a globe, when you look at stars, it is. On a flat plane, the angle can be defined as the arctangent of the height of the object divided by your distance from the object. And you can see my measurements follow that black line pretty much perfectly. But on a globe, it's 1 degree every 60 nautical miles. If you move 60 nautical miles away from the GP, no matter what angle the star was at, it always moves down by exactly 1 degree. But that's just not how it works on a flat plane.
Well, then how are you taking? How are you using this? 'Cause you're measuring triangle in triangles. How are you measuring
No.
this?
He's rolling around in the leaves right now, trying to find something to grasp onto.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to find anything to
hang
grasp
on.
onto. Are you not
Your
measuring?
angle,
Listen,
your,
guys. No,
your
hold on a
angle
second.
on a flat
Fucking
on
just
a
hold
flat
on.
Earth, it would be a right angle triangle, wouldn't it?
You guys check,
Yeah.
dude. You're measuring
Yeah,
in
it would be a
triangles.
right angle
Are you-
triangle.
Dude, just
Yeah.
hold on a second. Are you not measuring in triangles?
I'm measuring an angle and plotting it against distance.
Which is right.
Celestial
So,
navigation doesn't use a triangle to get its angle to the star that you're measuring. Do you understand that? That's why I tried to bring you. That's why I tried to force you to bring it to a flat baseline previously, like 4.5 hours ago. We're finally there now.
Yeah, but we could use a right angle triangle, as it says.
well, because you are
But
using
yeah,
it,
but it does it in the example that the Sifong showed us. If you use a right triangle, it plots out rather nicely. If we do that to Polaris, it doesn't work at all. To have a linear, to have a linear change of elevation angle, but the same distance, then well, it just doesn't add up, does it?
well,
And
it
I've
does,
demonstrated
because you're using
graphically
your
the
horizon.
triangle
Yeah.
that your angle has asked for.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So yeah,
What do you
So
mean that
you-
y'all
you-
angled that for? What the fuck are you talking about?
you asked
You
what
keep
I was
talking
measuring a
about right-
triangle.
You keep asking
Look,
about
dude,
right angle
sure.
triangles. I have given you 2 right angle triangles. Seafoam has given. Yeah, no, you've done 2 right angle triangles. You've also done
I
them
just gave you
incorrectly.
the two. I just
So I want to highlight this. You have drawn, as I almost did, you have drawn the right angle triangle from the light to the base of the tripod. But the problem is the angle is not measured from the base of the tripod. It is measured by the orientation of the telescope, which is at the head of the tripod, you have incorrectly annotated the triangles.
Well, even further, I actually did the measurement. If you look back at the original in the blue, the second one says view height 50 to 52 inches. That's because the real aperture of my telescope is going to be the mirror, not the front plate. So I did my measurements basically from as close to the mirror as I could. So I did it from right where the eyepiece attached to the telescope. So that's where my measurement point was, from the primary mirror, not from the ground, but from the actual, mirror aperture of the telescope itself.
Yeah, you measured the angle from the part that is doing the sighting, not as your angle has done, which is what the entire apparatus is stood on, which is
Exactly.
so it's so many magnitudes of wrong, your angle. Do you not see that? It's like saying that you did an observation but taking the angle from your feet instead of your head. That is what you have done. It is borderline idiotic.
But even still, with that incorrect measurement, you are still gonna get, even still with what your angle posted, you are still gonna get that nonlinear relationship.
Yeah.
There is a linear
Yes,
relationship.
non-linear.
There's these
Yeah,
two lines
perfectly.
right there. Look, you guys,
That's the whole point, isn't
you
it?
want to say you used your base for your tripod. That means you would have to literally keep them square to your fucking and when you're moving them too, right? You know that, right?
Yeah, my
Right, 'cause you have
tripod.
tripod. They're not fucking triangular as your picture shows. They would twist and turn and everything. Nice tripod, dude. That's why
It's not going to change if the ground's flat. You fucking come on, triangle.
The thing is, okay. The thing is, even if my tripod wasn't level, I'm not measuring the angle of the tripod. I'm measuring the angle of the telescope tube. The thing
your
actually
legs,
making the measurement.
used for measurement in distance is what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah, and
Incorrect.
what my tripod has is it has a metal circle disc thing that actually screws onto the legs, and you screw it on tightly so that the legs don't go out any way, and they don't go in any way.
That's inconsequential though. You could have one of those legs like as long as it can stand up. It doesn't have to be perfectly the angle. It doesn't have to be perfectly level, because you can level the telescope on top of it by moving it and making it level. It's not like you point the telescope. Hold on, your angle. Hold on. You don't have you don't have to change the height of the legs to change the angle of the telescope. Do you understand that?
I never said that.
Well, that's the argument you're making right now.
I'm not.
You are.
No,
I
I'm
know you are,
saying
because you
it's a
just made that
tripod.
argument
It's a
and it was
tripod.
dumb.
I'm saying it's a tripod, okay?
So
Tripod,
how does
right?
that fuck with the angle of the telescope when he's measuring it?
Because the legs move in and out. They're not fixed.
You're fucking dumb, man.
No,
really
They are fixed.
They are
Dude.
fixed.
You're
That's
fucking
the thing.
dumb.
They are
You're fucking
fixed.
dumb. And not only that, if you moved it over 72 inches, you're also the elevation might change from that area to that area within inches or 2 inches or so, which could easily change your fucking angle off by a fucking 5% or 6% or something like that as well.
And you can see that the white dots, there are some error in my measurement, but the general trend is pretty much almost exactly what the prediction states.
Right, you're doing a triangular elevation shot, dude. That's what you're doing. I don't understand.
But my garage
Going
floor,
from distance,
my
if you're
garage floor is
going for-
level.
The point he's making, your angle. The point he's making, your angle, is that relationship between distance and angle that he's demonstrated across a flat surface with an error does not even closely match real-world observation of Polaris. Polaris does not trend with distance like the garage floor. It does not trend with flat.
Yeah, how the fuck would you prove that anyways? What the fuck?
Just by measuring the elevation angles at different positions, north-south direction.
Yeah, you travel
Okay,
south
so that's
every
interesting.
69 miles or 30
Hilarious.
miles, you would take an elevation angle. And it does not trend with the garage floor. It does not trend with flat. You would do the science. You would do the observation.
Well, it does. What do you mean? You're using.
No, it
What are you
doesn't.
talking? You're using
No,
90
you're saying
degree
it
angle.
does.
No,
You're saying it
Because it
does, but
does.
it does not. People who've done it does not. You have
Question
not
then.
done it.
Fine. Question then. I'll agree to disagree. It's fine. But so when you're standing directly below a light bulb, where's your shadow?
Below me.
Yeah, because you're at 90 degrees to the light bulb.
You can't see it, right? Because it's below you. You can't see your shadow. But if you move to the right or to the left, you'll start to see your shadow skew at an angle, correct?
Yeah, in a linear fashion across a flat surface.
There you go, man.
Which you don't
Yeah,
see
what-
Sorry,
on
not,
a
sorry,
globe.
sorry. Not a linear, a
If-
non-linear.
no.
Linear. for blind.
If you had like a stick and you started directly beneath the light bulb, so it had no shadow, and you started moving away and measure the length of the shadow, it would conform perfectly to what Seafoam has measured. Same thing.
Right. Oh, so that's how the shadow clock works, right? How they tell time by sticking a stick in the ground at 90 degrees?
No, we're not talking about time. What we're talking about is the length.
Oh,
The length of the
yeah.
shadow. You do agree, if let's say if you had a 3-foot stick and you start off just below the light bulb, so you didn't have any shadow. If you move that stick away, kept it vertical, and let's say a couple of feet each time, the length of the shadow will change. Yes.
Depending, you move the stick, but it'll change as the sun moves across the side.
No. Forget that. We're using the light bulb example. So if we moved along the floor of Seafoam's garage, that shadow, the length of that shadow, will become longer and longer the further away from the light bulb you moved. You agree with that, don't you?
Yeah, but the light bulb's not moving; it's fixed.
No. You are moving. You're moving away from the
You're
light
moving the
bulb,
stick,
and the
yes,
shadows.
of course.
The shadow. You do agree that the shadows will become longer and longer the further away from the light bulb you move.
Yeah, that's called it. It's giving you its angular distance.
Yeah, that's exactly what Seafoam did by measuring the angles.
Okay. But you
See,
also
if it
have the stick
wasn't
vertical. You also have the stick vertical.
if it
Right?
wasn't 4 a.m., I would show you exactly the setup I had.
Dude, that's how you get. That's how they tell time and everything, dude. That's the sundial. How it hits Earth. Like, I don't understand you guys. What the fuck are you
You
trying to
don't
do here?
understand the experiment, your angle. You just do
I
not grasp
do.
it. That's why you're a flat
No,
earther.
Yargle, you can keep
What?
saying you do, but you fucking
Again,
don't.
I've asked.
Hey
What is the
Yargle,
experiment
hey
proving
Yargle,
here?
I know
What
your
is it
passwords.
proving?
I know your bank account number. I know all this stuff. Do you think I actually know it? I'm just gonna keep saying I know it. Are you afraid now? Do I
Well,
scare you? Am I intimidating to you now? No, I know this stuff about you. I know it. Are you intimidated? So if you continue to say that you know this shit, you don't hold a position of power. You hold a position of dipshittery because we can tell you don't fucking know it.
You get all pissed off, man. Fuck. Okay,
Well,
man.
it's the
Such a
way
fucking loser, Angle. You're such a fucking loser.
Such a
it's the
fucking
way you
loser.
engage your
Listen to
angle.
you. I
We
listen to you,
spent
bro.
maybe
You know what that
we've spent
is?
maybe 10 listen. We spent maybe 10-20 minutes explaining bubble levels to you and how he had the angle with his telescope, and you kept asking about a plumb line when a bubble level is perpendicular to a plumb line if it was set up. Rather than making that connection, that very easy connection of, well, it doesn't need a plumb line because he has a bubble, which is perpendicular to it, you brought up him needing a different tool, which in a way he already has. He has the perpendicular to it. You don't understand these concepts properly.
Yeah, I don't understand what
Thank you,
he
guys.
doesn't
Thank you.
understand about the experiment.
He doesn't want
What-
to
what-
understand it because he wants
I
the world to
understand
be
the
flat.
experiment, you guys. I really do.
No, you
But
don't.
what are you guys? I understand how you explained it to me and everything. But what is this like to contradict, or what exactly are you trying to prove here? Like
It
That when you
contradicts-
increase
it
your
contradicts
distance,
that, yeah, the relationship between the angle of something and the distance from it on a flat plane, on a flat Earth, like what you believe, where there is no curvature.
I don't believe it's
That
flat. But go ahead.
okay, we already went over this. We understand there's topography, but you don't think it's spherical. You think it's topography, but there is no general trend of curvature.
Right. Correct.
On that model, the angle you look at a star as you move away would follow that line right there, that black line, the arctangent of the height of the star over your distance away from it. Whereas in reality, and on a globe, on a sphere, there is a perfectly linear. Every 60 nautical miles, the star drops by 1 degree. It doesn't matter if you started at 90, it doesn't matter if you started at 45, doesn't matter if you started at 10. If you move away 60 nautical miles, in reality, it'll go down by 1 degree. But that reality only correlates with a sphere and not with an Earth that doesn't have any curvature.
yeah, Yorango, are you listening or are you looking for just random imagery?
No, I heard everything he said.
What did he say?
You like me to repeat it? Here we go. Yeah, I knew you were going to say
Yes.
that. So it moves within a degree every nautical mile, no matter what, right?
No,
And,
not what he said. What shape?
exactly what the
Be more
fuck he
detailed.
said.
Be more
That's what he
detailed.
said. What the fuck do you mean,
No,
man?
he didn't say no matter what. He described a shape. So it does that on what shape?
Yeah, compared to globe, compared to flat.
No, it does it by what you said, by
Spherical.
1 nautical mile or 1 degree. Sorry, 1 degree every on what shape?
The fuck you? I just told you, dude. I just said it.
You weren't fucking listening, were you?
You
was
never said a
listening. I
shape.
fucking listened to
Okay,
him. Knock it
what
off.
on what shape? On what shape do we expect 1 degree of drop every 60 nautical miles?
Yeah, you said 1 degree.
Yeah, what shape? What shaped Earth? Sphere or no curvature? Curvature or no curvature?
Yeah, I get it, you guys. That's the difference
Just
that you're
answer
talking
it then.
about.
Which one? You guys fucking answer it now. It looks you're an actual dipshit.
You said it does, dude. What the fuck does it matter? Either way you go, it doesn't matter because it doesn't display it on an Earth to a fucking sphere. Cool. I don't know how you're going to. I don't know how you're going to say that when you can't prove either or, anyways.
What do you mean?
So
You can physically measure
Fuck,
1
dude.
degree per 60 nautical miles, and you can see that 1 degree per 60 nautical miles perfectly matches a sphere, but doesn't match an Earth
How?
without
How
curvature.
did it? How? Show me it. Show me that on a sphere.
So you
then,
weren't
or
listening.
show me it on flat.
It's through its linear interaction
Fucking
with
me, dude.
distance.
You're not
You're
getting
so fucking dumb, dude. You don't even listen. You don't care. You just
You're
fucking like
fucking
you just like talking over
All right.
people
Yeah,
and
So
fucking
yeah.
here's
Your angle.
misunderstanding
Your,
things. Fucking idiot.
could I ask?
here's how it works
Could I
on
ask
it. Here's
your
how it
angle a
works on a
question?
sphere.
Yeah, your angle. Your angle. How much do you know about geometry?
quite a bit, man.
Yeah. So you do understand how you cannot have a linear elevation change to an object if the surface is flat or horizontal.
Yeah, that's how you get your elevation, or yeah. What do you mean?
You cannot. It's impossible geometrically to have a linear elevation change by distance across the ground if the ground is flat or horizontal. There's absolutely no way in geometry. There's absolutely no way to do that geometrically.
Okay.
So why then do we measure the elevation change of 1 degree per 69 miles, or 111 kilometers per degree? That fits nicely geometrically on a curved surface, but it does not match or conform to a flat surface at all.
Question.
That's what you have to explain.
What is the max degree flux in this measurement?
The measurements have been done thousands upon thousands of times.
0 to what?
Zero, you don't have to do 0 to what. You could do from 25 to 60 or whatever. It doesn't matter.
What's the range of field, right? It would be from 0 to...
Does not matter. The fact is that when you measure elevation change by distance across the Earth's surface, sorry, I got a phone call.
If it doesn't matter, then what are we comparing it to, right? You comparing it
Okay,
to...
let me try this from a different angle. Pardon the pun. We have two shapes, flat and or curvature and no curvature, right? Can you agree that to a fixed point above, say it's infinitely far, but it's above a certain GP at that point, can you agree that as you increase the distance, the angle would change? Yeah, just as a start, on both, the angle would change as you increase your distance from its GP.
Absolutely.
Yes. Can you also agree that the amount that angle changes as you increase distance would not be the same for curvature as it would be for no curvature, that they would be different amounts of angle change?
I'm not quite sure about that because I haven't...
Yeah, we
seen
know
the
you're not
measurement.
quite sure.
Then you don't understand basic geometry if you can't agree to that. A flat surface, as you move along it, would have a different angle change to the GP infinitely far away point we were talking about compared to a curvature of the same scenario. It's a fact. It's no different than if you moved around a cube than if you moved around a sphere. In a cube, you would suddenly go map round the corner. The different shapes have different properties to observations. So factually, they would have different angle changes based on the same change of distance.
Thank you. So what angles are used in a spherical sense compared to...
We observe when we model it, it's a linear change, not an exponential change as when we model flat. Reality matches curvature.
It's an
Right,
arctangent.
so with that
to be
said,
preemptive.
what is a spherical measurement compared to a level squared measurement?
Okay, so if you look at the picture I posted, right?
Right.
If you see the picture I posted,
Question, can you guys just answer that for me,
Okay,
please?
so what do you mean by a square measurement to, what was it, a curvature measurement? Like, what, do you think that the flat Earth and the globe Earth use different rulers?
Yeah, so anything over 180 would be a spherical measurement. Anything below 180 is square.
we're not talking about the angles themselves. We're talking about the rate of change
What's
of
the
the
measurement you're
angles.
using, dude? What do you mean?
Did you? No. Repeat what he just said, because you cut him off at the end of his sentence where he was making the point. What point was Seafoam just making, Angle?
Yeah, but you're ignoring the fucking one I just made.
Yeah, we're gonna annoy the shit out of you. Why don't you fucking try listening once?
Your point is irrelevant, your angle. You've almost, it's like you've tried, yeah, it is. It's like you have tried to, listen, you have tried to rename essentially what an obtuse and a non-obtuse angle is. We already have words for these. You don't need to muddy the waters.
Yeah, and your question didn't pertain to what we're talking about. So let me say it again. We are talking about the rate of change of the angle as you move away. On a flat Earth, on an Earth without curvature, we would expect the rate that the angle changes to be different than on a globe Earth. They would be two fundamentally different, right? And so,
so what would that be?
okay, on an Earth with no curvature, we would have the angle is equal to the arctangent of the height of the star divided by your distance from it. That's the black curve that was in my measurement. Whereas on a sphere, we would expect the angle to change 1 degree if you move 60 nautical miles away from the star's GP. So those are fundamentally different. 1 degree per 60 nautical miles is linear, whereas arctangent of height over distance is nonlinear. And in real life, when we do this measurement, we observe the linear relationship.
Well, it says here the sum of the angles of a spherical triangle are not equal to 180, and a sphere is curved surface.
That's a
But
different topic.
that's a completely different topic. I'm talking about the
No, it's
angle to a
not.
star. Yes, it is. I'm
You're
talking about the angle to a
those are talking
star.
about those are talking about triangles along the surface of a sphere, and we're talking about a triangle that sticks up away from the sphere. Do you see how those two would be different, or do you not understand that?
There's no difference.
You don't see the difference?
Oh my
I-
god, dude.
Because you're a dipshit.
You know what? I agree with Shoe Bill. I think this is just a lost
Spherical
cause.
geometry is spherical geometry. The properties are still there.
Your
How
angle,
can you
shut
be
up.
using-
Your angle, shut up. You're just talking nonsense. I don't want after the YouTube dumbass.
Let me make this nice and simple for you, your angle. How is the distance between 3 points on the surface of a sphere the same as the angle to a star?
Well, because you're still using triangles to make the measurement.
God, you are either the biggest troll or the biggest idiot I've ever encountered. Just
Not
because
smart enough to be a troll.
You're
by
using square triangles to measure a
Triangle.
fucking sphere. Good job, dude.
by your
But-
logic, a rabbit is a table because they have atoms.
Hey, why don't you
Well,
use square to
and
measure
also-
fucking angles, dude? Okay, and circles. Go for it. bro.
Just,
com-
By
just
the
to
way,
be
a circle's
just to be
a square,
clear,
right? A circle's a square. Okay, just so you know.
They're
and
different
just to be
topics.
clear, measuring the angle to a star is one singular angle, not 3.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not. It's 3 points, which gets you your angle.
No, it's an angle.
It's one
and
angle.
this is a hard concept for you to grasp. I agree. An angle
No,
does
it's
not
not-
actually need 3 points. If I have my fingers, if I make
You
if I
do.
split my fingers in 2, separate them, make like a right angle, right? That angle does not have 2 extra points. It has directions. It has 2 directions. It does not have 2 end points. My fingers could extend out to the end of the universe, and that angle would be the same. It is a 2-direction relationship that converge at a point. An angle does not need 3 points.
Absolutely does.
No, it does not. Whole industry of geometry disagrees with you. An angle does not.
So how about this? Yeah, if I if I take 2 laser pointers and I tape the butts of them together, and I shoot them off in 2 different directions, can I measure the angle between the 2 laser pointers, or I can't do that until I measure the third leg of this triangle?
Okay, so the definition of angle is
Fuck! You're not
this
going to answer the
speed
question, are
measured
you?
in
You're not
degrees
going to answer
between-
you're not going to answer my question, are you? Do you know what my
You guys are
question
gonna
was?
tell me you're gonna tell me I'm wrong.
I'll re-ask the question. Did you understand it, or were you not listening?
If you guys are just going to literally
Yeah, I'm gonna request that you fucking respond to me, or I'll just keep doing that. You fucking numpty. Did you understand my question, or do I need to repeat it for your fucking dipshit ass?
repeat it for my dipshit ass, please.
All right. Okay. So if I take 2 laser pointers and I tape the butt together and point them off at different angles,
You can measure the distance between the 2. Yes, that's from point A to point B.
no, measure the angle of the 2 laser pointers. Can I measure the angle where they're taped together? Or do I need a third laser pointer taping it together in a full triangle to get the first angle? Fucking idiot.
What would you need that for anyways? What the fuck would you be needing that for?
But the point is that an angle does not need 3 points. It is a vector. If you look at the image I have shared, there is one vector alpha, an angle between x and z. There is another between z and y. Those can give there's no endpoints though. They're just angles. They're just 45 degrees and 45 degrees gives you a vector in a direction. It does not give you an endpoint. It does not have a distance component. That's the important thing. Angles do not.
Those long points, right? You have a 90-degree angle, which gives you your long point in your angle.
Answer this question. Do angles have distance components or length components?
Just your angle does. Just the longest
How
side.
long
of
is a
the
90-degree angle? How long is
Listen
it?
to me. Listen to me real quick. I'm
Yeah,
answering you.
your angle. How long
Your longest
angle?
part of the triangle is your angle. Okay?
Your
No,
angle.
it's not. You fucking
Your
idiot.
angle.
It is. Yes,
Your
it
angle.
is.
Answer the question. Does an angle have a distance component such as meters?
Meters? What do you fucking mean?
Yeah.
Does an
How long is
angle?
1 degree?
No, it does not. No.
Thank you. So we do not need extra points for an angle. An angle is a direction, not a length. Therefore, you don't need 3 points for an angle.
Nobody said it was the length.
You did 100 times. You did. You said you needed
Hey,
3 points.
here's a good one. No. How about this? So your angle. All right, we're gonna go to a city. Yeah, hold on. Listen to me.
Put all turn out for a minute, please. Okay.
No, you're gonna be quiet. So we're both gonna be at a city block at a stop sign, and you're gonna go down one street, and I'm gonna go 90 degrees away from you down the other street. Did we go 90 degrees away from each other, or do we need a third person there to tell the fucking difference? You idiot.
You're fucking dumb, dude. I know, but it's not a conversation if I can't speak at all. Come on, what the fuck?
Well, you're an idiot, so it's not worth talking to you anyway.
I know.
It's worth talking at you. No, it's worth talking at you. You're frustrating and not worth it. Fucking dumb.
Where you get the angle, right, from a triangle is the longest point in between the 2 points of a triangle, right? That's the longest.
It's not.
Yes, it
Are you saying that an angle is the longest point? Are you talking about the hypotenuse being the longest leg of a right? Are you talking about?
Side,
yeah, the longest leg, not the angle. Not the angle, though, right?
It is the angle.
It's not the angle. God, I'm noping out of this. You're fucking retarded.
You're right. You're right.
All right, go ahead, Blog Tech. Let's see if you can out-derp your angle now. Your angle came in and out-derped. He out-derped, who was it earlier? So yeah, go ahead. You got a shot at this.
Yeah, so he's exactly right. You can't have a bent triangle. This is ridiculous.
Nobody's saying there's a bent triangle.
Who's talking about the bent triangle?
It's called spherical geometry. This is the
No,
argument.
we were talking about angles to stars, and your angle couldn't understand that. So then he started bringing up spherical geometry because he couldn't understand how you get an angle. Because he's fucking dumb. But do you want to talk about that?
On your globe Earth, it's the only way you can make it work.
Blotech, how would you
illusion and fake math? All this math is fucking fraudulent.
Blotech, how would you measure elevation angles to a star?
Yeah, okay. I'll say again, Stefan. Look, bro, communism does not work.
The word is elevation.
Yeah. So how would you
to engage with you if you just go to common all the time? Try and engage.
Yeah, because he doesn't know what to say, so he doesn't know.
That was the one shot you get. If you do that again, you will be probably timed out instead. Don't derail a conversation. Either choose to engage or don't, and I'll choose for you. So I was just wondering how Blotech would measure elevation angle to a star. Would you use like a plumb bob, or would you use like a spirit level as a baseline?
An azimuth.
They're gonna do it around Earth, that's for sure. Look, okay, Stefan. Look, I know your method. You think that you can prove a false argument by trying to say that this math could work. It's purely hypothetical and speculative, and it does not work that way. Math does not work the way you want it to.
I tell you what, you can test this in reality. You can have a horizontal baseline, and you can even
Yep.
create a curved baseline, and you can test how the angles are measured by distance, and the math works.
Curve the baseline.
You could describe it if you knew the curve. You could in fact describe it beforehand and then do the measurements, and you will get the correct answer.
What are you talking about?
Results.
We know the Earth is
You
flat.
you are claiming that the geometry is lying. It's wrong.
Your belief that you have spherical geometry, yeah, this is ridiculous.
Why is that? Have you? Okay, so you are
New
able
donation from
to
someone.
like refute or debunk, like, let's say, the Gauss-Bonnet theorem or Lagrange's or Girard's mathematical theorems?
Yeah.
If
Exactly,
you can
because
do
they're
that,
theory.
you would
You
probably
literally
win a
described
Nobel.
theory.
You would probably win a Nobel Prize in mathematics. So go ahead
They're
and
not
do it.
okay. Look, you just told me they were theories. That means they're unproven.
No.
They're just
Theorems.
theories.
No,
Theory.
theorems. You know what theorems are?
Theory. A theory.
Still not the definition
Mathematical
of theory.
theorems.
You're using the colloquial
You're
term.
trying to describe a
Bartek.
theory. Are you trying to describe a belief with
Bartek.
a non
Is there more than one?
This is ridiculous.
Is there more than one definition for theory? Yes or no?
There's one definition.
I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about theorems. Theorems, not theory.
Okay, stop believing. Okay, I'll take it to. You know what? Let's take it at face value. You're genuine right now, Stefan, which I know you're not. Right? Why?
Could you just?
Why are you doing this? Getting.
Oh, he is lagging out hard. Or was it just me?
Yeah.
I think he must be lagging.
Certified
Okay,
Australian.
Welfare internet's not coming through that great.
Okay, here we go.
I've told you multiple times. Flat Earth
Now,
internet.
an idea which is demonstrated as true or assumed to be so demonstrable. A preposition that has been, that is, or proved on the basis of explicit assumptions.
Is that
It's all
theory or theorem?
I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about mathematical. Hang on. I'm talking about mathematical theorem.
New donation from someone.
Right here, this fucking completely fucks up your whole star fucking.
You're retarded.
Do you know the difference between a theory and a theorem?
I just post the definition in the chat, Stefan.
Okay.
An idea which has
theorem
been
or-
demonstrated
okay.
as true or assumed to be
New
demonstrated.
donation
A
from
proposition
someone.
that has been or is to be proved on the basis of explicit assumptions. Theory, theorem, it's the same thing. It's a belief in something that could be true.
A mathematical theorem is what?
Is proven to be true.
Yes.
It's not. No, it's not.
Exactly.
There's no theory. There's no proof in
is
math. Math is a belief. It's a theory.
Is the Pythagorean theorem proven?
No, it's a theory. It's an assumption.
So the hypotenuse of a right angled triangle is not equal to the sum of the squares of the sides of the triangle.
Yeah, because they made it fit. Math is a creation of.
Oh my god! We
Made
couldn't
it
make
fit.
up triangles.
Math is a delusion of. It's a fantasy.
You're so bad.
They have to go back and rewrite math to make it fucking metric. All right, work that out.
Here's the problem.
Thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, humans made up triangles, and we made up the math to work out the hypotenuse of a.
Yes, you invent the triangles are a belief. It's a theory.
they're not
Triangles
made up.
exist in the
Bro.
natural world.
There's
They're
not.
not
It
made up.
doesn't exist.
Yes, they do. They do exist.
You can give me
Where?
any.
Where do they?
Provided by.
New
the
donation
sun.
from someone.
Blatek,
Triangles
can
are a
you?
creation of
Blatek,
100%.
you can draw any right angle triangle of any size, and I will tell you the hypotenuse if you give me the length of the other two. That is a fact. That is why it is a.
It's not a fact, it's a creation.
There it is, right there. There it is. He just said it. Thank you very much, everyone.
What I said, how theorems and theories work, that they are solid
Triangle
principles.
is a creation of man.
Back it
Vertical
up,
geometry is
dude.
a creation of man. Geometry is a creation of man. It's nothing based on God. It's
Well,
all
God
So if we
belief.
build
New
a
donation
so
from someone.
if if we built a physical right-angled triangle, could we do measurements and see if the theorems are correct or not?
You
Another
can.
word is
You can.
cosine.
I could do it.
Get
I
Yes,
it.
could
you
do it
can.
right now. I can actually do
You
it right now.
can. Yeah,
No, they
you
made it fit.
can.
You know what? You could go back, you could rewrite all mathematics how you wanted to, and then make it work. And then say, believe in my math. You could do that tomorrow.
Well, if it
No
works,
reason.
then it conforms to reality.
No, it doesn't conform to any reality. It conforms
Yeah, it
to
does.
a belief.
It
So
does.
It's a
can you make
It
two
fucking
plus
does.
two equal 5?
If you
Can you
build,
make 2 plus 2 equal 5? Or can you? Because it seems like you think you can just make
It
math.
doesn't mean anything. 2 plus 2 doesn't mean fucking anything. It's just numbering.
So
yeah, it does.
can make 2
If
plus
you
2
have,
equal 5?
all right, Latek. If Johnny has 2 apples, if Johnny has 2 apples, and Sally gives him 3 more, how many apples does Johnny have?
Okay, no, it's numbering. So you're actually saying you were giving actual 2 physical objects plus another 3 more. It's not numbering. It's all bullshit, mate. Just
How
because
many?
just because they
How many
made it
apples?
work
Number
so
on
you
the apple.
believe it.
How many apples does he have at the end?
Well,
Oh
if
shit!
you
We just
want
found
to,
out Blotech
work on,
can't count. No. Blotech can't count. That's why that's so confusing to him.
if you
He's
want to
used
work
to
on the
the juice.
reality of that,
Blotech, you realize geese can count and you can't? That's fucked up, man.
Well, who cares about how many
you
apples
don't
the
get
fucking
it, do you?
has?
Well, apparently Blotech doesn't think a math can conform to reality.
It's a religion. That's all it is.
I don't know if it conforms
That
to
is
reality.
your cult. That is your cult telling you that, Blatek.
How many penises do you own, Blotech? Do you even own one? How would you know?
7.
It's not a number. You have 0. You have 0 dicks,
Math
don't you?
is
No,
a
he has
religion.
7.
Question mark. Bet your math is a religion.
It's not.
Own a penis.
So we can't use geometry. Like if I want to figure out how many square meters of new oak tiles I need for my living room, I can't use geometry and math to figure it out. I see.
You can.
Or how much to fill
because
to
you've been
top of a container.
Yeah.
So if I have like a container, like a barrel, and I measure the height and the radius, I can't use math to figure out how much water I need to fill it to the
The
top.
height and the radius is another creation of man. It's all
No,
math.
that probably wouldn't work for you.
Can you guys
very well.
even imagine, just for a second, can you guys even imagine the amount of math that's being used right now just so Blotech can deny math to us from all the way from Australia?
That's true. Good point.
I mean, there's binary just to send the packets of data over here. There's binary again just so that he can talk to the internet with an IP address. Like, there's so much math.
The microphone needs to convert the analog pressure waves into a digital signal. Oh my goodness. That has to go to the Wi-Fi router. The Wi-Fi router has to send those packets, I don't even know where.
7-layer model.
The government has to pay for his internet and for all the work at all. Like, yeah, there's a whole system and architecture built around it.
Okay, go find me one triangle or one spherical fucking geometry equation in your fucking computer.
Why don't you fucking skip around and find? No, why don't you fucking go skip around and find it yourself? Fucking dipshit.
Using.
I've
Computers
got
use
better.
coding. It's
I've got
coding.
better. Find me one right angle triangle that doesn't meet a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Doesn't matter that we made it up. We made it up because it matches.
At least you admit now that's fake. That's what. Well, up to a good start.
It's not fake. Made up does not mean fake. Language is made up.
Now we're getting somewhere. So, as I said, computers are coding languages. It's data inputted into a device, right? You're not using fucking triangles or fucking spherical geometry or angles to a star to find any of this shit out. You cannot equate the same two together. You're all ignorant. You're all autistic. Move on. You got owned by the government.
No,
To be honest,
yeah,
Blatek,
Blatek.
you know fuck all about geometry and
No,
maths.
you
That's
don't
for
know
sure.
anything about. You want to believe so hard that you're just delusional, Stefan.
I would
fucking
like
No,
to-
told you this.
I tend to use mathematics in my everyday work, and it fucking works.
Yeah, and what are you measuring though?
Well, let's
Blatek
say I
thinks
need
using
to.
Blatek thinks
I
putting
need.
his pin in for the ATM is math. So that's, I mean, just you have to acknowledge that.
Like maybe
No,
I need
the
to
coding.
figure out the
No,
volume in a well bore between the well bore and the drill string. I need to figure out that volume. I need to use math and
the
geometry.
coding processes the data to alter the numerical numbers within the account. Whether you take more money in or add more money to it, it's irrelevant. It's just coding.
So
bro.
Bartek, maybe ask you a simple question. If I had a cube 1 by 1 by 1 meter, how many liters could I get into that one? Could I
It's
use
fucking
math
code
to figure that
segment.
out? Could I use mathematics to figure that out?
Back in the old day, they had all different styles of math. Then they invented a new one called the imperial. Then the
That's
metric
not what I
system.
asked you. That's not
But they
what my answer to
reinvented
my
math
question.
to fit their life.
If I have a
to fit
yeah, if
how
I have
things would work.
if I have a cube 1 by 1 by 1 meter, can I use geometry or math to figure out how many liters of water I could put into that one? That's just a simple yes or no question?
Or because the leader was created for the metric system.
That has
measured
nothing to
the
do with it.
fucking-
It has
Yes, it
nothing
is.
to do with it. How
It's
I
not
could use
given by
math?
chance.
I,
God didn't
I-
sit down and say, okay,
It doesn't matter. I can use any unit I want. Deciliters or gallons or barrels, it doesn't matter. Could I use mathematics to figure out how much volume I can get into that
you're
cube?
supposed to be stupid. Just move on.
No, it's a simple yes or no question.
He's
Bartek,
not
it's a
asking his
simple
question.
yes.
Blatek, it's a yes or no question. If you can't answer it, that's okay, but it does take you down a peg. I'm gonna move you if you can't answer it. There's a peg, and I actually have a little board here that I place the numpties on. I will have to move you down a peg if you can't answer this simple yes or no. Can math tell me how much volume is inside this given square? Can you answer that yes or no? Or you don't know?
Okay,
I'm holding on to the peg right now. Let me know. It's a yes or no. And if you do anything but a yes or no, I'm going to fucking move your peg.
The metric system was
Okay, I'm moving your
created
peg.
for this particular purpose.
Nothing to do with it. As I said,
It's an
you can use
invention.
whatever unit you can use whatever unit you want.
No, you can't.
Can I use mathematics to figure out how many liters or barrels or gallons or whatever I could fit into it?
Yeah, they invented it so it fits. It doesn't happen by nature.
Oh,
A liter
well,
doesn't occur in
well,
nature. A centimeter is not natural.
But that
a
just
meter is
means
not natural.
yeah, but that just
It's
means
made
that
by
for
fucking man.
any size, yeah, but that means for any size cube, I could
Yes.
use math to figure out how much I could put into it.
You know what? I'm
Regardless
going
of
to
the
create my
size.
own math. I'm going to
So-
call. I'm going to reinvent it, right?
Yeah, so
I
math
can't
works,
wait for
doesn't
that.
it?
I'm going to call
Math
it
really works.
89 fucking
Hold on, Stefan.
fingertips.
Like his whole, your whole
fucking
thing,
whatever.
Blatek, to have to create math that is just as successful, you would need to have the same theorems. You would need Pythagoras
Okay.
to work with triangles. You factually would.
Fucking just reinvent it. It's irrelevant. Math is irrelevant.
I would love, yeah, no, I'm for this. How long do you think it's going to take you to do it?
I could just use their principles and rewrite
No,
it
you gotta
to
know,
my
you
own
don't like the
measurements.
cheat. No. You don't want to steal from globe retards anyways. You want to make your own, right?
It's
Start from
it's
scratch.
retarded.
Well,
The whole fucking
yeah,
system's stupid.
totally. I can't wait to see yours. How long do you think it's going to take?
That's what I'm saying to you. You guys are so fucking out of
no,
touch
you
with
just
reality.
said you're going to make
don't
your own.
understand.
You just said you're going to make
This
your own.
is
I'm
a-
just curious. how long do you think it's going to take you, and where are you going to start? Like, what's your first, like, let's say the cursor is blinking on a blank page. What's the first thing you're going to do?
So I said, move on, apologize to me, and admit you were stooged by the government.
choice. Yeah, if you move on and apologize to everyone, that's probably the best start you could do.
Why
I
would
wonder
we
if- I wonder
apologize
if
to you?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, you 5 minutes ago, you had the belief that math was all about nature and about the universe and it's all this and all. I said, no, they're just fucking making shit up and they made it fit. That's
Well,
all they
no,
did.
we don't.
And you
We
believe
don't make it fit.
No.
As one example of us defining things from nature, yeah. A second is defined as the time it takes for a cesium atom to like vibrate over 9 billion times.
No,
We've defined
they
a
didn't do that
second
at all.
from atoms.
No.
But
Adam,
you can
no,
say
some
no,
atom.
but that's what we did.
That's the definition.
No,
A
no, you didn't do that. They
kilo,
didn't.
I think, for a very long time was like this ball in London of like a bunch of tungsten or some shit. Like that was the definition of a
Yeah.
kilo.
Mm.
No, you
Yeah.
can as much as you want, but all these things have definitions. There are different things that define things. Even through history, people have had
It's
ways
accepted
to
knowledge.
kind of compare the weight of things.
Huh.
But yes,
What
that's
can
true.
fucking do? Well, then, anyway, you know what my point. You know I've won the argument. Move on.
Yeah, so you want let me Google it. 1 kilo, what's the scientific definition? It is by taking the fixed numerical value of the Planck constant. Wait, what? Oh, they are crazy people. Yeah, it's again they use the cesium atom in a complicated way that I don't know science well enough to understand. Again, it uses nature. We take a bunch of nature things in a very particular situation, and we say this many of those or this many oscillations of that is this thing, so that we can calibrate tools.
Yeah, and then there's a new definition from for the length of a meter as well. It used to be based on the distance from the North Pole to the equator, but today it's how far light travels for a fraction of a second in the vacuum.
Yeah, so it's the length of the path traveled by light in a vacuum during 299,792,458th of a second. That is the definition of a meter. How far light travels in about 300 millionth of a second.
No,
Yes.
they didn't make that. They didn't do that at all. They
Yes.
They just invented that.
Why do you say they didn't? Because you have a cult that tells you that you have to distrust the government.
Okay, first of all, they're not measuring light in our vacuum.
But that's your claim.
So what is
some smut on Discord, you're not a scientist. You have a cult that
I am a
tells you that.
scientist. I'm a fucking genius.
Bullshit.
I'm beyond fucking genius.
Blatek, what is your definition of a meter?
Let me address that point.
Okay.
I have more qualifications than you, and I have one qualification.
Yes.
What qualifications do you have?
Just because you've been trained to adopt a religion and not question it doesn't make you intelligent. It makes you a slave. That's what it is.
I'm a slave to the globe because I have a first-class degree in computer science.
100%.
To the globe, because I know computer science. Yeah, sure.
How could you make a correlation between the globe and a fucking your computer science degree? There's no logic in that at all.
That's my point, but it demonstrates my level of intellect that I have successfully obtained the degree that is not dependent on the globe. What degrees do you have?
Intellect is not based on how you can regurgitate information.
It's not. My degree isn't based on how I regurgitate information. My degree was majoritively coursework. I had to create software applications. I created a Minesweeper application. I created a video game. I created a website with two other of my peers. I created a lot of different software applications and demonstrated core principles down to object-oriented programming. That shows my capability to retain and problem solve. My career is on creating new software that doesn't exist to meet a purpose that hasn't existed before, because I can do that because I have that intellect. What do you do with your intellect?
I educate people on the internet on how they just follow us.
Well, currently, you fail to educate someone with a computer science degree in something unrelated to computer science. So you're very
It's
bad.
just coding, bro. If you can remember code and then you can rewrite it and make fucking software, whoop-de-doo. You're just following on what someone else invented.
No,
and you
that's
can
not how
literally
that
go
works.
to ChatGPT. You can go to ChatGPT and just rip the fucking code and just take it as your own.
No,
That's all anyone's doing these days.
I'm not a fan of AI. ChatGPT and AI is actually notoriously bad at writing code because it is trained on code, but it also has variations. So it actually starts to put in constant errors into the code in ways that you don't understand.
That's what I'm saying. Why would you equate coding with fucking... I can't even deal with this.
No, that's the point I already made. I don't equate it, but I have a computer science level of intellect, and you fail to educate me on something unrelated to my degree.
It's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's my point. I have enough intellect to get a computer science degree, but you don't have enough intellect to teach me about the globe, even though I'm uneducated in it.
There's no globe. We've established this 5,000 years ago. I don't know where this
you
bullshit's
are
coming.
too uneducated in flat Earth to educate me on it.
Dude, I...
Okay,
fine. You know what?
Enlighten us. Teach us about the flat Earth. Show us all the valid measurements, tests, experiments, and
You just
whatnot.
proved it to me. All the measurements
Giving
are
evidence
invalid.
for the flat Earth. Come on. Give us a proper, valid measurement, giving evidence for the Earth to be flat.
Well, this is not pushing false math and false science on people trying to use as evidence for something that doesn't exist.
Okay, so
show us your evidence.
Understand this,
Denying.
I've already explained it to you over and over again. Why did you repeat myself?
No, you haven't. You never have.
Yeah.
All you do is
You're
attacking
sitting
the
there
globe model
trying to
and
use
never.
fucking math that doesn't make any
The
sense
only
to
thing
prove
you
a point
do.
that something doesn't exist. It's a troll.
Yeah, the only thing you do is attack the globe model and never support your claim by any evidence at all. Valid evidence.
You're the
Where
guy who
are the
believes in
measurements?
gravity.
Blatek, where is the measurement giving evidence for the Earth to be flat? Give us a valid measurement.
I'm right, and apologize, and we'll move on.
Let me explain to you, Blatek, why you are a failed teacher of flat Earth to us. It is because you do not attempt to teach. You make an infinite number of claims to that they're lying to us, that we're brainwashed or such, but you never
New donation from someone. New donation from someone.
Evidence. You just make claim after claim after claim and insult after insult after insult. If you want to
apologize.
If you ever want to move forward with trying to teach us, you actually need to bring material of substance, not just make claims.
Okay. Because you believe in math and you can't see anything beyond that out of coding or math or whatever, this is what's clouding your judgment and it's blocking your attachment.
Hang on, Blatek. Hang on.
Because you think everything has to have a coded or mathematical explanation.
Yeah, but Blatek, there you go again. What you do, you attack like math and measurements and so on. And we are asking you for valid measurements, giving evidence for the Earth is flat. You can't. You never do. You always go to either attack either attack like mathematics, geometry, which you have no fucking idea about, or any other. Go ahead. Teach if you want to teach us about the flat Earth. You have to give us the valid measurements, methods, the science of it. No, then you got all you got
have
is an
to step
unsupported
out of
claim.
this realm of
If you don't,
brainwashing. You're
if
brainwashed.
see back
And
again, it doesn't
yeah, there
matter.
you go.
Let's say I know absolutely nothing. I have no idea about anything. You go ahead and teach me about the flat Earth. Give me the evidence, the measurements, and how you base your claim the Earth is flat. Not by attacking anyone else. Solely by the evidence you have for the Earth to be flat. Not that people are lying or the governments are doing this and that. Give us the measurements, methods, the science of it. Can you do that?
Okay, if I was to control you, right, how would I do it?
That wasn't the question that was asked.
You have to give us ample and convincing evidence for your claim and support your claim that the Earth is flat. Before you can do that, you got nothing. Because anyone can make up claims. I could say the Earth is shaped like a banana. I don't have to support it. It's just that you have been lied to by Globers and all the flat earthers. They're all just telling you a lie. Math is fucked. It doesn't conform to a banana-shaped Earth. You see, that's how you argue. That's how you argue. So unless you can support your flat Earth claim with valid empirical measurements and evidence,
I said, it's a journey
you
of
got fuck all.
discovery. You have to work it
You
out
haven't
for
got
yourself.
anything. The only thing you got is denial. Denial and attack of the existing model. That's all you got. You got nothing.
Okay, fine. This is the problem with you people, right? You think, as I said, you've been told ever since you were a child that math is the answer to everything, and
here we go again.
To nature. No, it's not.
Yeah,
it was all made by
here we go again.
You are doing the exact thing that Jaren says Flat Earth does. Okay, Jaren's on our side now because he saw the 24-hour sun and has identified the vile, lying nature of Flat Earth. Flat Earth has
you're
nothing
invoking the fucking
to the globe.
24-hour fucking crap. Don't
we have absurd examples such as using Unreal 5 as explanations to fake it. After years of saying that the 24-hour sun doesn't exist, Flat Earth did a 180 and said it was either faked or supports. Flat Earth is an absolute joke. I was at a science festival where I live, and Brian Cox was there doing a thing and saying there isn't any flat earthers in, and the entire room laughed at you.
That?
And Blatek, you did exactly as I said.
Yeah.
Instead of putting forward your valid measurements, giving evidence for the Earth to be flat, you are attacking the consensus.
No.
And that's what you. Hang on, shut the fuck up for a minute. Shut up. I didn't finish. You said math is wrong. You've been indoctrinated. Yes. The governments that be are lying to you. That's not an evidence for the Earth to be flat.
It's a system that they've created that makes it work, and it can be.
But that's not evidence for the Earth. But that's not evidence at all for the Earth to be flat.
In fact, what's your best evidence for this delusion to have taken place and this trickery?
It's not a delusion. It's how they had to adopt the system, right?
You're saying we have one. What is your best evidence that we have been deluded? If you won't supply evidence for flat Earth, provide evidence for the delusion that we are under.
So, for example, right? You want to go back in time. They took an object, right, and they said this object weighs 1 pound, right, and we'll divide it up into whatever units, right?
People trying to quantify something. Trying to quantify something isn't trickery. Right. It's just communication.
And someone goes, well, what do we do with this? He goes, oh, you can weigh your potatoes. Here's a weight that's 1 pound, and here's potatoes. Oh, what do we do then? Oh, you can barter, or you can trade your gold and silver or copper for it. Oh, okay, right. But what if we need smaller measurements? Oh, we'll create ounces. Oh, okay. And
Well,
then
to
we'll
be
make it
fair,
smaller than that. We'll create a fucking drums,
yeah,
grams, and whatever else.
that sounds like a fantastic
It's
system.
all
Like,
creation,
imagine,
dude.
no, it's nothing. It's just a system. Like, imagine, right? Imagine you have a sudden
Now you
glitch.
get
You have listen. Imagine you have a
45-degree angle explains supposedly why it's 90,000 miles away from Earth, the sun.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. 45 plus 45 is 90.
Oh my god, you can't be that stupid. You actually
Oh
can't.
no, for fuck's sake. Yeah, oh
Yeah, that's
Jesus
how they
Christ.
calculate it, dude. What do you
No,
mean?
how,
Yes, he can.
No, it's
how
not.
the fuck does adding
Yes,
angles
it
together give a distance? How does adding angles together give a distance? What distance is 15 degrees plus 15 degrees?
That's what I was trying to ask earlier. What distance is 2 degrees? What distance is 4 degrees? Fucking numpty.
I mean, your angle, I
Okay,
say
dude.
this with all the kindness that I can muster, but if you are not trolling, you need serious professional help. You are severely
What do you mean
uneducated.
Or at least a caretaker, somebody that makes sure you don't eat rat poison.
What do you mean professional help? What do you mean?
Well,
Jesus.
you angles do not add to lengths. 45 degrees plus 45 degrees cannot equal any distance.
How do they get the distance to the sun then?
They use by the sun can
Oh
be a
Jesus
different
Christ.
the sun can be a different method, but you can measure the height of, say, a tree by being at 45 degrees of
No,
it and knowing the distance along the ground.
I was saying, how do they get the distance to the sun then?
Well, by easier methods than that, at extreme distances, your triangle approaches infinity because you just don't have a long enough other side of the right angle triangle. You would need to use
45
techniques such
45
as
is 90.
That's why they use like Venus, the transit of Venus is one way of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't add angles to make distances, but you can use angles to solve the rest of the. I am still making words. Shut the fuck up. You do not add angles together to get a distance, but you can use angles to form a triangle to then infer a distance. It is not 15 degrees plus 15 degrees equals 30 million miles. Angles do not convert to distance.
What you would need to do that, you would need two angles and at least the length of one side. That's the
Yeah.
parallax.
Right. So it would be 40 whatever, or it would be 60 plus 90, right?
No,
Or
but the
it would be-
problem is that the baseline between those 2 points where you are measuring the angle is too short to make a proper estimation of the distance.
No,
Yeah.
you encompass the 90-degree angle.
No, but the 90-degree angle just tells you straight up. So you've got one side of the triangle is to the sun. You've got one side of the triangle is kind of where you're stood and then along to somewhere else. The problem is the Earth is not big enough to give you a long enough that bottom baseline to give you the distance accurately. The distance is just too extreme. Like to your ceiling, you could take the distance to your light bulb. That's easy because it's really close and you don't have to go far to get the flat side. But for the sun, it's just too far to do.
So then how do you get the distance to the sun?
Like the
transit of Venus?
Or potentially, have they ever fired radio at the sun and it's bounced back, or is that too far?
Radar. They measured the distance by radar in the 60s.
No, they
There you go.
haven't.
Superbly powerful radio communication device. Bounce radar off it, does it? We're back to where we were a few hours ago. There are techniques to do it. But your angle, what you said, and again, I say with all the kindness I can, what you said makes as much sense as claiming that for a square, one side being 5 and the other side being 5 means the area is 10. That's almost as idiotic as what you just said. We know that's not true. You multiply. You can't just add angles together and get distances. You have to form the triangle, and the triangle is too stretched out to do the sun in that method.
Sure, it's funny because it sure does match up to the miles that it is away.
Okay, so you have a citation. You have a citation of someone. You know that for someone to go 45 degrees relative to the sun, relative to the Earth, they would have to be 93 million miles off the Earth.
Right.
So nobody's done that.
Yeah, that would be 45, and then times 45 is 90.
No, oh my, you can't be
No.
that stupid.
I
You
See,
can't
if I
be?
met, if I,
Okay.
yeah. No,
you
hang on.
need to make
If I,
it
How is
count.
that stupid, dude? How is that stupid?
I'm just looking at my garage just now, and I could
The
sort of
reason why
measure the.
is because
No, hang on. Hang
okay,
on. I'm looking at my garage now from a
that's at the
distance, and I can
closest.
sort of,
That's at the
yeah,
closest
and let's
spot
say
to the
to the right-hand side is about 35 degrees. Or let's say it's 45 degrees to each end of the garage. How far off is that garage from me? No fucking idea. It's impossible. I can't use angles just angles to figure out the
You can't
distance.
because
I
the
need more.
sun gives off an angle, right, to its rays, right, when it deflects. So it does give its angle.
No, but what we're saying is you can't get the distance to something with a single angle. Like, I assume you're in a room, right now. I assume you have a wall nearby.
Sure.
You cannot physically possibly right now take the angle to the corner of your floor, yeah, where the wall and the floor meet. You can't take that angle and tell me how far away it is. Just with that angle, can you?
I could use a measuring tape.
No, I said just the angle. Can you use just angles, no measuring tapes, to work out the distance?
I don't need to do that because, right, because it's there.
You said you could add two
Tangible.
angles together and get 93 million miles. So please
One
demonstrate
angle.
in your living room how you can use an angle to get a distance without doing measuring. Just
I'll
angles.
tell you why. Okay, just angles itself. You pick any fucking angle you want and I'll give you the distance. It doesn't matter what it is because it's all equal distance, right? It's all equal distance fractions. It's all fractions.
You need
Your
help.
angle. Your angle. If I had let's say a cube, which is 1 meter more wide, but I don't know it, and it's 5 meters away from me. I measure the angle. I move it 20 meters away, or someone just moving away. I have no idea the distance. The angle to that object will change. Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Would it tell me how far off it is? Could I use only that? If I didn't know the size, if I did not know the size of that object, could I use just the angles to figure out how far away it is?
Yeah, you can use it by its angular size, right?
No, but explain to me how. Let's say that object, I measure the angles to both sides, or let's say 45. Let's say for me, looking at that, the angles is 20 degrees from side to side. How far away is it?
What? Is it spherical geometry going to use or?
No. I'm just asking. There's an object far away from me, and I measure the angle to the sides of that. Let's say a large building, and it's quite a long way away. And I measure the angle between the ends of that house, and it's 20 degrees. Could that tell me how far away that building is without any other
it would be,
measurements?
Yeah, it'd be 120.
No.
It'd be 110 actually.
110 what?
Miles. Or whatever you remember.
Miles? No. It would tell me absolutely nothing.
Like, if that building was 10 miles away and 400 feet high, or 50 miles away and three times as tall, the angle could be the same. I don't know the exact numbers, but you could have two differently tall buildings at two different distances, and the angle to still making words. I'm gonna have to repeat myself. You could have two different buildings of two different heights at two different distances, and the angle to them would be the same. Yes? Potentially, yes? Is that theoretically possible? Your angle? That is a question.
Oh yeah, the two different. Of course, the angle
breaking
as far as your vertical, yeah.
Is he breaking
Yeah,
up
I
for
did. Your
anything?
vertical would be the same.
Have we got you back?
I don't know what's going on. I said, yeah, vertical would always be. You guys hear me?
You were breaking up quite
Can you
badly.
hear me, bud? Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you now.
Breaking up.
Yeah, so
We
I
got
asked
some
you.
breaking up with you.
Yeah, so I asked you, I got two different buildings of two different heights and two different distances. Is it possible that they could be at the same angle to their tops?
You said that you said the same height though.
No, I didn't. I have two different buildings at two different heights and at two different distances. Could the angle to their tops be the same?
Okay, what about
No.
orbital mechanics?
Not asking you,
No, they
Shasta,
couldn't.
why can't they? Why is that not possible?
Because they're both different. You just said.
You don't understand geometry.
I do.
We
You
can,
just said they were both different.
so you're telling me that I can't get two triangles that both have a 45-degree, but they'd be different sizes.
It would be the same size, right? As
No.
far as shape, but they would
Oh,
have the
shape,
same
yeah.
angular. They would have the same angular shape or size, right? So, but at a different
Yeah,
size, right? But
rephrase this. We can make
you're
two triangles that are the same shape with the same angles, right angle triangle, yeah. We can make the same triangle
right.
twice, but it can have different lengths for its three sides, can't it?
Well, if it had different lengths, then it would be a different
No.
triangle.
Same angles internally, but different lengths. We could form the same triangle twice.
No, you can't.
Oh my god, you seriously? I could work if I do put a little bit of effort into
Do
this.
that, you have a different angle, dude. You can't have a
In fact,
different
hold on.
angle with a different length. What the fuck, dude?
No, I'm not saying different angles. I'm going to ask Gemini, and I rarely use AI, but I use it for this. I'm going to ask Gemini,
right?
give me
No,
triangles
hold on.
that
But you
have a
change the
90
length,
degree
right?
angle and two 45-degree angles. Hold on, give me a second. Please give me two right angle triangles with two 45-degree corners of different length
It's impossible.
size. Let's see what it says. Will it succeed? No, unfortunately, Gemini's not that smart. Fuck.
Because it won't, because you're changing the length, which will give you.
No, I'm not. You don't
Will
understand.
give you. I
You really
do.
don't. If you have a
Change the
triangle
length, it gives
of
you a
90
different degree, right?
your angle, if you have a triangle of 90 degrees, 45 degrees, 45 degrees, that triangle's lengths could be different sizes, but those angles would be the same.
Length equals distance. No.
No. Oh my god, you're so dumb.
I'm wondering
not.
your angle. If we had two different sized objects at different distances, we could have measuring 45 degrees of both of them. Would you agree? If one is bigger, if one is bigger and further away than the smaller one, we could still end up having 45 degrees to each.
No.
No.
Nope.
So if you move an object closer to you, will the angle get smaller or bigger?
If you move it closer to you, the angle will get your angular view will get bigger.
Yes, and if I move it further away, it would get smaller. Yes. So if we had two different sized objects, let's say one is twice the size
of the other one, and we move them away, the smallest one will end up at 45 degrees first, and you would have to move the second one quite a bit further away to end up at 45 degrees. Don't you agree?
Well, yeah, that, I mean, when you say 45 degrees, though,
Well, or 30 degrees or 60, it doesn't matter.
right. Well, that also depends on your point of perspective.
No. If I had two different size objects, one is twice the size of the smallest one.
Yeah.
One big, yeah, and you move both of them away. And let's say you move them away until you measured 30 degrees to the smallest one. Would the bigger one also show 30 degrees?
Well, if you moved it 30 degrees, that means you changed the point of perspective with that shape.
Okay, I've got an image. I've gone into triangle calculator. It's really easy. So, I've lost the white background. That's gonna make it hard to see. Hold on. Post that again. Those triangles are the same shape with the same angles with different length sides. Exactly what I asked you if it was possible. You said no. I have demonstrated it's possible.
You demonstrated what now? Hold on. Yeah, so those are the same shape, though.
They're the same shape, but they have different length sides, which was the premise of my conversation. Yes, they do.
And why would it be a 45 degree angle?
Look at the values. B is 10 on the right, B is 5 on the left. All I did was double the sides, the B side. All the angles stayed the same, but the length
size. They're different size. Okay, great. But the angle's the same. What's your point?
My point was, I asked you if the angles are the same, but the lengths are different, are they the same? You said no.
And you said the length. You didn't say the height and length. You said the length.
Doesn't matter, really.
I said if I have different, if I had different buildings,
it's going to be different than your height, right?
Shut up.
A is height, B is
Shut
length.
up. I said
yes, it is.
If I had different, shut up, and I'll tell you what I said. I said if I had different buildings at different lengths, the B side, and at different heights, the A side, could they both be at 45 degrees to their tops? That is what I said.
Hey, Unigans.
Yeah. Which you disagreed with. But I have demonstrated here that a building, let's say 5 miles away and 5 miles tall, would be at 45, and a building 10 miles away and 10 miles
multiply it by its own fucking number and get the same fucking angle. What kind of fucking stupid question is that, dude? But that's not what you said.
This demonstrates exactly what I said. I said if you had a building
different heights and different lengths. You said different heights and different lengths.
Different distances.
Those aren't different. You
yes,
want
they are.
The fucking angle, you multiply them by their own number. Okay, dude, that's how you get the same one, which is in return magnifying the shape into a bigger shape. That's all it's doing.
No, what this demonstrates is if I have a building 5 miles away, 5 miles tall, and a building 10 miles away, 10 miles tall, magic buildings, they would both, their tops would be at 45 degrees. That's what you said was impossible.
Hey, Unigans, do you have a vision problem?
Dude, the fuck, man.
Your angle, you said that wasn't possible. I said different buildings, different distances, different heights, both 45 degrees. You said no.
They said different lengths and different heights.
Well, I'm sorry that you
do have a vision problem.
I'm sorry.
Different
I'm
from
sorry
each other. Not the same. Dude, you didn't say they were the fucking same.
I know I didn't. That's not what I'm saying. Where have I said they were the same distance away or the same height? Where did I say that?
So listen to me, bro. You have the same fucking height, and that's what makes angular distance. Do you understand?
Not
so if you're going to sit there and you're
angular
going to
distance,
multiply by itself, of course you're going to get the same angular fucking goddamn number. Duh.
Well, you won't get the distance though. You can get the
Come on,
distance.
man, stop, dude.
Your angle.
Di-
I really need to make sure that
the
you got this.
distance-
I never said
Oh.
they were the same height. I never said they were the same distance away. And if you have a difficulty understanding that, if I accidentally say
Right, you said
length,
different. Exactly. You said different.
which was the whole point of the topic,
So how
I
is
said,
it different multiplying the same fucking number then, dude?
what numbers am I multiplying?
45.
I'm not multiplying 45 here.
Oh my God,
Multiplying
man. Okay,
45 by what?
Then how are you getting a 90 degree then? How are you getting a 45 degree angle from both then?
Because if I know the height of the building, I know how far away I have to travel to get it to be a 45 degrees.
Exactly.
But if
There's
you
no
don't know this,
multiplication there.
yeah, if you don't know the size of the building, you don't know the distance, the only thing you know is the angle. Well,
You
that's
can't
it.
know anything.
That's all you got.
Yeah. That's the key point of the whole topic. If I am looking at a building and I know the top,
Exactly. Wait, go ahead.
listen. If I am looking at the top of a building and it is at 45 degrees, I have no way of knowing if it is a 5 mile tall building 5 miles away or a 10 mile tall building 10 miles away. They would both be at 45 degrees.
Okay, yeah, that means they're perpendicular.
Doesn't matter. Stop throwing in more words
Well,
because you're confused. The point is, you can't use a single angle to determine distance. Fact.
Distance. From the observer, you could.
No.
Oh, you
Okay.
can't.
Okay.
No.
This scenario. Yeah. There is a building. The top of it is 45 degrees in elevation from you. How far away is it? Is it 5 miles or is it 10 miles?
Well, you'd have to measure the length and height, right?
No, we don't have the ability to measure. We only have an angle. How can we determine that? The answer is you cannot.
Well, you don't
Johan,
have an angle.
you claimed earlier that we could use an angle to figure out the
talking
distance.
about light, guys. Light. I'm not talking about fucking a goddamn angle, dude.
Your whole premise was 45
My
degrees.
premise was light, was the sun distance, light in the shadow, dude, okay?
Yeah. Your point was 45 degrees plus 45 degrees was 95 million miles.
That's when the sun
Idiots.
is
You're insane.
right, it's the shadow, dude, not the fucking goddamn structure.
What shadow from the sun have you ever measured that's 95 million miles?
90, which would be the when it's at its 90 degrees on Earth, when it's closest to Earth, right?
Okay, so what
during-
shadow have you measured that was 90 million miles in length?
90 million miles in length. The actual angle from the sun's rays, from something being perpendicular, right, to the horizon. which
What
would be
shadow? You think you had a shadow that was
clock, dude. A shadow, a clock. A clock. tells you
Okay,
that,
hang
right?
on. So if, let's say, the sun was circling directly above the equator, and I moved away from the equator to 45 degrees north, are you saying I can use that distance and angle to figure out the height of the sun above the Earth?
Yeah, supposedly, yeah.
No, you can't. Because if I went
Okay.
to 30 degrees and did the same, then I would have a different distance from the equator and a different angle. And doing the calculation, then the sun would end up being at 2 different locations.
The sun would be at 110 degrees from you at that point, right? So.
Well, hang on a minute. Now we have a baseline, a length of a baseline. If you add that into the right angle triangle, you can figure out you know where the GP is,
right,
which is equator. That's the first line. It's a vertical, it's a straight up line. Then you have the distance across Earth's surface, which is the bottom line, bottom line, and then you measure the angle to the sun. If you do that from different locations, at different distances from the GP, the height of the sun will be all over the place. If you base this on
Right.
on a flat surface.
Right, from observer, right. From observer, right. That's correct.
If you have an angle, you know your distance from the GP, which is the baseline, and you have the elevation angle, that will enable you to calculate the height of the sun, or a light pole, or whatever, or a house. If you know the distance from the house and you have the angle to the house from that position, you can calculate the height of the house. You can do the exact same thing with the sun.
No, it's not, because
Yeah.
that's the distance from the sun. Not you can't do. No, the distance, because the light rays give it away, right? Because the light rays, it's interpeating its light rays, which gives you its shadow, right? Which gives you the angle, right? So that's what you get, and then you calculate.
Yeah,
that.
but the problem is if you do that, and you use those numbers, you know the GP of the sun, which is straight above the equator, and you have several people at different distances away from the equator, let's say on the north or the south, doesn't matter really, and they know the distance from the GP, and they measure the angle to the sun. What would happen if you started calculating the height of the sun? Would you get different heights for the different distances and location based on a flat Earth?
Well, supposedly the height of the sun is 90.
The height of the sun. I'm talking about the distance, not angles.
Same thing.
You know what a right angle triangle works, yes?
Yes,
I think it was
sir.
posted earlier. Yes. Let's see if I can go back to that example. Hang on. I need to get back to my phone. See
Your
open chat.
angle, it's really horrible of you that while someone is trying to explain something to you, moments later you're posting, frankly, the same image over and over again, but just posting in general. It's showing that you are not actually paying attention to what you're being spoken to about. So if you're disinterested in the conversation, just fuck off.
Yeah, there was a right angle triangle posted at what, 1234, two right angles. If you look at that, A, the straight line A, is the GP of the sun. So the sun is directly above that point. And at the end of B, you have the observer. And he knows the distance from the GP to where he measured the angle. With me so far?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I have not seen what you.
Yeah. What you then could do, but that distance along B and the angle, you can calculate the length of A. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, from the shadow that's casted.
From the shadow or whatever measurement, whatever tool you use to measure the angle to the sun. The problem is, if you moved closer or further away and measured the angle again, and you did the calculation, the top of the A line, the vertical distance, would change, would be different.
Right, because of your angular, your distance.
No. No, it would just be different because when you measure it on a spherical Earth, if we base the angle to the sun on actual measurements done on Earth, and we put that into a right angle triangle, like in the image, the sun, the height of the sun will be all over the place. It would not be at one specific point. Just try. Just Google right angle triangle calculator or something like that.
Okay,
And change the distance of the bottom line and the angle, and see what happens.
Okay. Sure. I've done that. I just did that actually. With the 45, I just did it. I just did that.
Yeah, but try like what we say on what we measure on the Earth is it's 1 degree per 111 kilometers or 69 miles. If you put it in miles,
Right.
okay. So you start off with 69
Demon
miles,
Shard, you saw that?
and then the
Yeah, but
angle
you
of 1.
don't interrupt,
Yeah.
Stefan. Just go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. And then put in an angle of 1 degree. What is the height?
Hold on.
Yeah. So yeah. So what is the length of that vertical? The A, I think it's probably A, stated as a line A.
Okay, so you want me to put in the height of 9? What?
No,
Oh,
don't
sorry.
put in no, don't put in the height. What you do
Oh.
is, I think the bottom line is probably called B. Is that correct in the calculator?
Well, the
I'm out
height
walking my dog,
is
so
the height is A, and then B would be the distance, and then you got
yeah, the bottom line is B. Yes. So if you put in B as being 69 miles long,
okay,
and the angle,
got it.
I think it's probably A, angle A or alpha or something like that, as 1 degree. You end up with one
No,
result.
see,
Yes. You end
need
up with.
the height and the
So how long is then the line A?
Hold on. Okay, so I'll put it in. Hold on. I don't can do it like that though. I think that's how it works because you but I'll put in 1 degree what happens. 1 degree
No, just
angle
put.
at
Yeah.
69. Let's see here. It says the height would be 19,038 with some
Okay. So
you got a 1
if
degree
you now
angle
put in
at
6, yeah,
19,000
yeah,
19 1938
yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Oh wait,
So what you
I put
do?
the wrong.
Yeah.
Hold on, I didn't put
Yeah.
marks.
Yeah. Okay. So after you've done that,
Sorry, we're getting sound like I'm
yeah,
talking.
yeah,
But I think we're getting
yeah.
into later.
So when you've done that, put in 690 miles and 10 degrees. Just multiplying the distance and the angle by 10.
690 for distance, you said?
Yep, and 10 degrees.
Okay.
You say 690 distance, 10 degrees, Stefan.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
gonna be over
69, 690 miles and 10 degrees.
Cool. I'll
I
put
got
it in
to mute.
chat.
Yeah, I've got to mute a second.
Why is my shit going so slow right now?